Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today. As you can tell, we're in a good mood. I laughed halfway through my last name, so we're having a fun day today, and we have a fun story ahead of you. This is what Crime and Sports is all about right here. Crazy stories, crazy time. We're going to do it today. Trust me. It's another one of these. It's a brain damage sport.
Oh,
and
terrific.
Junior's involved in the whole thing. I love Crime and Sports. Anyway, we will get to that. You definitely want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Oh, yeah?
Get your tickets for live shows, baby, especially Chicago, August the 12th. Get in there, Chicago.
Yeah, let's go.
It will be our biggest show ever for Small Town Murder, so come on, come strong. It's going to be that sounded gross. It's going to be strong, really. Shoot it right over our heads.
And tickets are going fast, so you better hurry.
They are going fast, so it's going to be our biggest show ever, so be a part of it. It's going to be a Chicago-only live show, so it'll be a story that we will tell nowhere else in the country except for Chicago. So get in there right now. Also, Atlanta, D.C., D.C. sold out now.
It's
Sorry.
all gone. Philly.
See, this is what happens. Philly, Atlanta, Charlotte, and Dallas are the ones available. Everything else is sold out. So we are excited for that. Shutupandgivememurder.com. Patreon.com /crimeinsports is where you get all of your bonus material. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get it all. You're going to get Crime and Sports, Small Town Murder, the whole back catalog of bonus material, which is a couple hundred deep. Yeah. You get a lot to binge right away. And new ones every other week, including this week. For this week, we are going to talk about, for Crime and Sports, we have a theme this week for Patreon. We're going back to the 19 teens is our theme.
Yeah.
We're going back to this time, and we're going to talk about the 1919 Black Sox scandal.
Oh, boy.
The White Sox throwing the World Series in 1919. We're going to talk all about that, some of the myths that have come from it, and who actually did throw it and who didn't, and who benefited, and cui bono the shit out of that bad boy, and we'll see what happens. And then for Small Town Murder, this is just from what's been going on the last couple of weeks. I've been going down a bit of a rabbit hole. We're going to talk about weird Titanic stories. Yes, nothing to do with small towns, but it's or murder, but lots of dead people.
With everything about that stupid fucking boat.
I've been going deep into this stuff with studying people and shit. I got some weird stuff, just some weird coincidences. And we'll throw in a couple other sea mysteries as well. Just some interesting sea mysteries. That's patreon.com /crimeinsports. And you'll get a shout out at the end of the show where Jimmie will certainly mispronounce your name, even though
I'll butcher it right
he'd love nothing more than to get it correct. So definitely do that. And also, Your Stupid Opinions is coming. We are going to start it now sooner than later. We've just found out. So we got some good news today. So it's coming sometime very soon in the next month. We actually promised this. The show's because the show's done already. That's the thing. We just have to actually put it out. So we needed to have a feed and all the business stuff that goes along with that. And there's been some delays, but it's been worked out. And it's going to come to you here. Your Stupid Opinions. We can't wait. So find that soon. There you go. So that said, let's get into it, Jimmie.
Let's do it.
And everyone else, let's have a ball here with Terrence Tyree Glenn. Okay. Terrence Glenn? Terry Glenn, the little wide receiver. Remember him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess a little. He's 5'11".
Patriots?
That's not little.
Yeah.
Patriots, Cowboys.
That's right.
A couple other. He got around, Terry Glenn. No, I think the Packers for a minute, maybe.
I don't know.
Yes. No, definitely, because I remember doing the thing. Yeah, Packers for a minute. Yeah. So there you go.
Terry
you
Glenn.
Know all of this. Yeah, know all this stuff here.
Yeah.
Terrence Tyree Glenn. He's born July 23rd, 1974 in Columbus, Ohio.
No shit.
And yes, and his father, he never met his father.
Really?
His mother's name is Donetta, Grace.
Really?
That's the best it's ever going to be for Terry here. I know this is like the second time that's happened where someone's born and they're sucking the mucus out of their face, and we're like, well, that's it, buddy. You hit the peak. It's all downhill from here, Chief. Yeah, all downhill from here. And that's kind of how he grows up.
Really?
It's a tough life for him, man. Real tough life. He grows up very poor in Columbus, Ohio.
Yeesh.
He's got a younger half-sister named Dorothy that they live with. It's his mom, Donetta, him, and his younger half-sister here. That's the family unit. And they were on welfare the whole time and food stamps and everything. And he says, quote, this is Terry, quote, we had nothing at all. There were times when we didn't have electricity or gas.
Neither,
which is tough because that's there's
if
no
you don't
heat.
have gas, at least you can plug a hot plate in.
You could plug a hot plate in. Also, if you don't have, like if the oven's electric, but you have gas heat and the gas is off, you can open the oven up and turn that on. Or you could figure something out. But when you have neither, it's like, well, fuck it. It's cold. The water's cold. This sucks.
Light a fire in the yard and snuggle around it? I
mean, that's you're basically camping in a tent with walls now. That's all you are. That's all it is at that point,
camping
right?
in a drywall tent.
Yeah, with running water. So, I mean, that's helpful. That's better than not having running water, but that's rough. Terry is very pissed off at his father that he never met. So
I get it. There's some rage there, man. It's not easy.
Yeah, his whole life he is going to have this rage that's strange because it's directed toward this source that he's never able to really identify. So
yeah, you don't even know what it looks like.
He's just throwing it out into the universe as I'm angry at this person who, are you my dad? Every guy he sees, should I be mad at you? Who is it, motherfucker? You?
It's the last name.
Yeah. She'll ask, you look kind of like me, don't you? Hey, come here for a minute. Let me see. Never mind. Let's see your facial structure a little better.
Yeah.
You have my nose? No? All right, good. Fuck off, man. So he said he was angry. He said, quote, he'd better not ever call me or even look at me. If he was around, this would have never happened. Now, this he is referring to is not only his entire childhood, but specifically a terrible incident that happened when he was 13 years old when his mother met a man named Kenneth Adams. So if his father was around and with his mother, he's saying this would never happen. Right? Yeah, mom wouldn't be out looking for, I assume, guys or just looking for relationships. So Kenneth Adams, he was really into Terry Glenn's mom, who was 27 at the time. She had him when she was 16. So
holy. Yeah,
and she was only 29 at this time. This Kenneth Adams abducted his mother and beat her severely, and left her to die in an abandoned building in Columbus, Ohio.
Holy shit.
And she died in the building in Columbus, Ohio. She was beaten to death and left for dead in
He's
a building.
11.
He's 13 years old at this point. So
yeah.
The anger that you would have, first of all, you don't know your dad and you're pissed off at that. Right. But then this happens, which would make you angry at the world. And he's even angrier. He blamed his dad for this. You know what I mean? Like, that's how angry anything that happens, he's going to throw. It's somehow related to my dad. Could have wouldn't be like this. Yeah. If only dad was here, maybe this shit wouldn't be going on, which is honestly fair. You know what I mean?
But still,
it's not healthy, but it's fair.
Right. Yeah, and this guy shouldn't be beating women to death, obviously.
Probably not. Yeah.
Had that guy stuck around, maybe she wouldn't be dating. That's for sure.
That's right. So Terry says, quote, he liked her and she didn't like him. I guess that's why he did it. This Kenneth Adams ended up being sentenced to 13 to 40 years in prison. That's
incredibly light, right?
Pretty big range, it seems like there. Yeah. So Terry says, quote, I was over at my aunt's house when the police called and told us they found a body in a building and that they would call us back later on after they identified the body to see if it was her. Because she was like missing, so they called the cops, and the cops said, well, we found a body. We'll get back to you. Maybe it's her.
Maybe don't tell people that part.
Yeah, maybe Maybe know for sure and then give him a ring. I mean, what the fuck? How many people did they have to call, too?
Right.
There's probably a bunch of missing women, so it's like, we found, there's another one we found, and we never know.
Holy shit. Wasn't that guy, that little serial killer in Colombia? He was.
Yeah.
Probably around that time. There's got to be dozens of people.
There's always tons of people missing at all times. So
it's a lot of phone calls.
It's a lot of phone calls to go. Maybe we'll get back to you.
Maybe identify it and then tell that family.
If you get that call, wouldn't you be like, why'd you call me? Why is this phone call? What made you pick the fucking phone up and dial my number knowing what we're talking about here? And you have you called to say you don't know anything.
You waste of a salary.
Yeah. You called to say, hey, go ahead and get started crying. We'll get back to you later on to let you know if you should continue. That's what they said. Thanks a lot. Fucking
Get the
Columbus
sobbing
police.
out now so that when we call later, there's not a lot of screams into the phone.
It'll be nice and calm. We like to take the shock out of it. You know what I mean? That's how we do things around here.
We'll call you in about 6-8 hours.
Wow. That is fucked. So, yeah, they said they'd call back. Terry said, but I had a feeling already. I just started thinking about what the consequences would be if she really was gone. What would I do? Where would I go from there? He's 13.
That's horrible that he already has that instinct to start mapping out his life.
Well, you have to. I guess if you're 13, your dad's not around, your mom's been taking care of you, and now she's gone. You're like, well, I can't go home now. Mom's dead, so where the fuck do I go?
And barely been taking care of him because things have not been going great.
Yeah, it's not been, it's been threadbare, to say the least, and now that's even gone. So no gas or electricity with Mom. Imagine without her. And then what happens? So he actually says at this time, when he's 13 into 14, he actually contemplated suicide because he figured, I got no parents, I have nowhere to go and nothing to do, and, my life kind of sucks here, so might as well.
Forget the kids at that age do that.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely, they do that, and especially if your life is kids who don't have a life. This is the extreme of
obviously,
no dad, mom's beaten to death in a building. Like this is fucking horrible. This isn't even like mom died in a car accident. This is,
mom died on a date with a suitor. That's
not even a date with a suitor. This is a guy liked her. Yeah, he just abducted her because he liked her, which is sick. So. God knows what else he did to her. This is insane. You know what I mean? Like this is there's a lot for a kid to deal with, and you'd be very pissed off. And like I said, if she got in a car accident on the way to work, he's not going to be like, if my fucking dad was around, blah blah. Like it wouldn't be like that. But to have this happen, then you're pissed off there too. So he's trying to get through it. He said his little sister Dorothy, ended up. He said, well, I got to be here for my sister. She's going to need me now more than ever. So, and that pulled him through this time. Eventually, Dorothy, though, goes to live with her actual father in Akron, which I'm sure crushed him. Now I don't have my sister because she's got a dad that I don't have. So that sucks. That really sucks. So he said, quote, once I looked at my little sister, who was 7 at the time, and so sad, I knew it wasn't about me. She was the only person I was thinking about once we got the call, because how do you explain to a 7-year-old that she wasn't going to see her mother anymore? It was hard, but we just told her right out, and she understood. I mean, she really didn't have much choice. Yeah. Mom's not going to ever come back again. Oh.
Yeah. She's able to process some pretty serious shit because she's been processing serious shit for 7 years already.
Yeah, it's not like life was all flowers and candy and, she had nannies and stuff and then it all just was dashed away. This is just a long line in a series of shitty events that have happened in these people's lives.
She's been making her own ramen for 4 years now.
Yeah. Oh, she absolutely knows how to make ramen.
She knows the good additives for it, too.
Yeah, well, if there's a vegetable in the house, she knows to throw a broccoli in there or something. So Terry had to get on with his life here. Mm-hmm. He said that it became clear after a minute here that his aunts really didn't want him around. Oh. He didn't. I mean, they only had daughters. Yeah. All the aunts had daughters, he said. So none of them had sons. So if you have children, having a daughter and having a son are very different.
Entirely different.
Yeah. Entirely different. If you don't have a boy around and you don't want a boy around, it's kind of... and I'm sure he's not the easiest kid to deal with. He's probably angry. He's probably got a lot of emotional issues and shit. I can't imagine he's, getting straight A's, and the teachers are calling to say what a wonderful joy he is to have in class, probably,
So he's a pain in the ass and a financial burden.
Exactly. So it's tough. He says, quote, right from the instant it happened, I kind of have been on my own, kind of veered off to the side and used my own judgment, which is something that carried me.
Yeah.
That is not going to be good in the future. This is the problem. When you're 13, and from the time you're 13, you live on your own wits and judgment.
Yeah.
And you make something of you actually get to something of a good place. You're not like working at a car wash when you're 25. You're in the NFL with fucking Tom Brady throwing you passes. You know what I'm saying? Like, you might think that, well, whatever I do is correct, obviously. I got myself from there to here.
I obviously make the best choices.
Who's going to fucking tell me what to do when this is, I've gotten here? You do that? He's going to look around the locker room. Anybody else is no father, mother, brutally murdered when they were 13, totally on their own. Anybody else here?
And you're still in this locker room with the giant Patriots logo and the NFL logos all over the place. You did
Didn't think so.
I did that.
Me. That's the one. So I get it. You would be like that, I would think. So he says that he credits his good judgment and, of course, God's blessing, which if there's one person who, if there is a God and then you believe in him, you'd go, God hates this fucking kid. You know what I'm saying? What blessing has he given you?
Right. You learned how to start a fire with 2 sticks. You had to. You had no other choice.
Yeah. I mean, just from the outside, you go, Jesus, God hates this little bastard, doesn't he? Look at him.
He's not happy with you.
God called him a bastard. Jesus.
God made you a bastard.
And Len laughed about it. That was the thing. He laughed about it. It was just something he was doing at a party. It wasn't even like he didn't have to do that. He was just like, watch this. And
he just did
poof, there you are.
Watch this,
Yeah, had a couple of drinks and was feeling a little froggy. You know how it goes.
How funny this is.
Wow.
Watch him squirm.
Oh, man. He said, though, that he was steered away from trouble and steered toward football and steered toward a family who was a friend of his cousin's. And they started to kind of take care of him. Yeah. He says, you know what? Let's do it in their own words. What do you say here? I think it's been too long since we've done in their own words. So let's do in their own words. Quote, my aunt wanted me to move out. They said they were going to take me to children's services. Jesus. Then I found someone whose parents were into sports, and that's what I always wanted. I asked June and his parents to let me stay over a couple nights, and those couple of nights turned into 8 years. I've been blessed. Ever since the incident with my mother, things have just worked out for me, thank God. Having a bad childhood made me strong. It made me mentally tough.
They're going to give me away, so I just shopped a new fan.
I was like, hey, you guys like sports? Wow, you like sports? Yeah? Can I live with you for 8 years?
Looking for a little guy that doesn't eat much?
I mean, yeah, I'm not that big. I'm not planning on growing very much more than this, so.
I'm going to stay skinny, I promise.
I'm not like a bulk guy. I'm going to be a speed receiver, so.
I'm going to keep the
I'm running a lot of carbs. Yeah. Pasta's cheap. You know what I'm saying? Load me up. That's all I mean. I don't need a lot of meat is what I'm getting
I want to keep low impact on my knees. Gonna keep myself slim.
That's fucking wild, man. So, yeah, it was 15 is when he got taken in by Charles and Mary Henley, who were parents of a friend of his. So that is a friend of his cousin's there.
Yeah.
They would serve as his legal guardians, actually. Like, you know, I mean, you have to, I guess. You can't just take a teenager in and have him live with you without anyone knowing where the kid is.
That's kidnapping.
Yeah, especially if he's basically a ward of the state at this point because his parents are gone.
Right.
So Henley's son, June, ended up playing in the NFL, as a matter of fact.
Oh, really?
And also broke some records at the University of Kansas for rushing. So
they should have talked about this more.
That would have been good for him. So
I could hear hair plugged up Joe Buck telling this story.
Yeah, no, not at all. You don't hear very much about this. Yeah, this is an interesting story. They grew up together like this, and they both ended up in the NFL. I mean, fuck, the parents had
the blind side. Fuck the blind side.
And we should give his parents more kids to raise if we want NFL players, because apparently you just go to their yeah, they don't even have to genetically spit you out of a crotch. They just you show up at their house, hang out for a while, you'll end up in the NFL.
Draft day, your phone's ringing.
Yeah, what they're feeding them, whatever kind of mattress they're using, it's all really good stuff here. So he ended up going to Brookhaven High School,
Really?
where he was in football, basketball, track, and tennis, which is interesting. That's what he was interested in. Yeah, tennis. I mean, why not? He didn't play organized football till his sophomore season, though.
Is that right?
Which is very strange. Didn't play peewee or any of that shit. Sophomore, and that's how athletic he is, though. It doesn't matter. He ended up playing wide receiver / cornerback and returning kicks as well. So
wow, he just honed that skill right now, out of the gate.
Fast is what it is. You're fast. So you run faster than that receiver, then you run faster than that cornerback, and when they kick it to you, you outrun everybody, motherfucker. That's how it works. He was a AAA state champion in the 110 hurdles and the 330 hurdles in 89 and 90.
Okay, 3A champ.
3A, I guess that's whatever size the school is.
Right.
As a senior in 91 in high school, he's the team's co-captain. He gets 14 receptions for 416 yards and 4 touchdowns and gets second team all-district honors, which that's not
decent.
Huge.
I'm not blown away.
No, there's guys who sell insurance that had better stats than that.
Bet.
Absolutely. You can go on any car lot, any dealership.
Yeah.
Three of those salesmen had better stats than that in their senior year of high school. And they'll tell you about it if you ask them. They cannot wait to tell you about it. Trust me.
It's the best days of their lives.
Yeah. That Al Bundy thing is the truest thing ever. You get somebody.
Yes.
They will tell you about all sorts of glory. Let me tell you about what I did that time. That's okay. You save that. So he ends up at Ohio State as a walk-on.
Is that right?
That's remarkable. Because Ohio State is a top tier football program, top 20 program.
He probably knows that, but it's a local team to Columbus, so it's like it's everything for Columbus. It's fucking everything.
Well, if you walk on too there,
that's
then
such a
you
big
can
deal.
Still live at home because he lives in Columbus, so you don't have to have. That's a way you can afford to do that. Whereas if you were going to go walk on at Florida State, where you got to find somewhere to live in Tallahassee now that you got to pay for something.
Gator?
Yeah, or you got to pay for a dorm because you're not a scholarship student. Yeah. So he said he grew up admiring the football program because obviously that's the local thing. He sold soft drinks at Ohio State football games when he was a teenager too. Sold sodas in the stands.
Vendor guy.
Walk around and do that shit. He said that they, at the time Eddie George was on the team, so he looked at their whole deal. 1993, he ends up on Ohio State, and as a walk-on, which is, doesn't happen very often. He's practically He's like Rudy with talent. Is what he is.
They scout the whole fucking country. Yeah. They usually fill all the slots. They don't really have any room. And for this kid to just show up and make the team, that's incredible.
He's bumping somebody off, you know what I mean, by just showing up, which is impressive as shit. So they go 10-1-1 this year.
That's pretty good.
Not bad at all. They're 11th in the AP poll that year, so not terrible. This is the year they have, Bobby Hoying was their quarterback. Remember him? He played for the Eagles. Hoying played for the Eagles for a while. Played for Philly for a couple of years.
No.
Also, Eddie George on this team. Joey Galloway, remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Speed receiver.
Buccaneers, yeah.
Yeah, Chris Sanders, another wide receiver that made it to the NFL. Cedric Sanders was a defensive back. Dan Wilkinson, the defensive lineman's on this team. This team is chock full of NFL players. Just
great
a ton
players,
of them. Yeah, tons of NFL players here. So this year, this is obviously he's, just coming into college football here. He plays in 12 games, has 8 receptions for 156 yards, averages 19.5 per reception, though. So that's
great.
That's big gain type shit here. No touchdowns at all, though, which is weird.
That's okay.
No touchdowns. He, as a red shirt, he ended up, this is what's cool, that was his actual, real freshman year where he plays. But as a red shirt freshman, he got onto the team, and during drills, he earned a scholarship. He was so good, they gave him a scholarship.
Wow.
So he ends up playing on scholarship after his redshirt freshman year. He earned his way onto the team.
This is what happens when you got a chip on your shoulder.
Yes.
You can't bring that kid down. He's running on pure rage.
How could you bring him down? Beat his mother to death? Oh, already done. You can't get lower than that.
And in 93, your mama jokes were all the rage.
That's it. And he's like, yeah, really? Well,
my mama
got
so
beat to death and left in a warehouse. So we got to come back for that motherfucker?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. That's dark, man.
Yeah.
Terry's dark, bro. He's fucking grim. This is shit.
Now catch me.
Yeah, when he takes off. So he does well, though, anyway. He sees limited action and obviously only 8 receptions that year. 94, Ohio State's 9-4 that year. Okay. And this is still Eddie George, Bobby Hoying, Joey Galloway, Terry Glenn. He's still 3rd on the depth chart in receivers, though, this year, because they have Joey Galloway and Chris Sanders who have been there already. So that's why he's not playing that much. Oh, Ricky Dudley on this team, Corey Stringer. Oh, he's the guy who died, Corey Stringer. He's the offensive lineman for the Vikings who dropped dead during one of the workouts in the summer.
One of the workouts, that's right.
Too hot, and he was huge. So this year, he plays in 10 games. Let's see, 10 games, only has 7 receptions for 110 yards, but a 15.7 per average. So
unbelievable.
Not too shabby at all. 1995, Ohio State. They go 11-2 this year.
Yeah.
A little bit better here. Yep. Not bad at all. Kicking some ass. 11-2, and he plays in 12 games, 64 receptions this year, 1,411 yards.
Yep.
Crushing it.
They won the Fiesta Bowl, didn't they?
I think so, yes.
95, I think so.
17 touchdowns.
Wow.
That is great. 12 games, 17 touchdowns.
That's incredible.
Your money is what you are.
They figured it out. They figured out how to use him.
He's a fucking beast. This is Joey Galloway leaves, so now he's the number 1 guy. He starts 12 out of 13 games. He had a separated shoulder, so he sat out 1. He set school records with both 64 receptions and 1,411 yards. So both of those are school records. Not too shabby. He averages 22 yards a reception this year.
Shit.
Which is fucking remarkable here. Against Pittsburgh.
First downs.
That's crazy. That's a fucking quarter of the field, basically, every time he touches the ball. That's silly. That's silly.
Yeah.
Just give it to him 4 times. We're in. That's it. Touchdown. Against University of Pittsburgh, he had 9 receptions, 253 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Oh, Pitt hates him.
Holy shit. And a 2-point conversion. Shit. My God. That is impressive. Very, very impressive here. He also is the consensus first-team All-American and won the Fred Biletnikoff Award as the nation's top wide receiver.
The Stickum Award.
So, yeah, the old Stickum Award. Not too bad.
Good
By the way,
him.
when I was a kid, I thought Biletnikoff and Baryshnikov were the same person.
Fantastic.
I thought there was a ballet. I just got them all mixed. Same thing with Eddie Murray and Eddie Murphy. I thought there was a ballet dancer who fucking, snuck in from Russia. Receiver. And he's so athletic and so, I pictured him tiptoeing along the sidelines. Think about it, catching a pass around the sidelines, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. He went from a ballet guy to a wide receiver. That's so awesome. Because it was around the same time, too, that these people were around. So in my brain, before my time. So it was just a shit I had heard bits and pieces of as a kid.
I heard Broadway Joe took ballet classes to learn how to dance a little easier, and Jerry Rice, too.
Yeah, they do. That's what I mean.
So they can tiptoe the fucking sideline.
In my mind, it made perfect sense as a child.
Except for the fact they would explode that.
Oh, they would kill Baryshnikov. He wouldn't last 2 downs. They wouldn't have to throw it to him. If he tried to throw a block on a running play, they'd crush him to the ground.
He'd come apart like a 17-year-old riding the people mover.
Totally. Whereas Fred Biletnikoff was a very excellent receiver and tough.
Tiny little man, though.
Yeah, that's why I thought he was the ballet guy, too, because I'm like, he's small. I didn't Baryshnikov, Biletnikoff, same shit to me. A cough. I don't know. I'm fucking 5. What do I know?
He's an angry little fuck, that guy.
Yeah, he was. A lot of the Raiders were here.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, From Law and Crime, this is The Rise and Fall of Diddy. Listen to The Rise and Fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
So, April 20th, 1996 is the NFL draft, 1996 NFL draft.
Yeah.
New York City, Jimmie, 1996. I love putting you on the spot with these. Number one overall pick. It's not a quarterback. That's one hint I'll give you.
I can't believe it.
No quarterbacks taken until pick. Holy 30. Shit. There is no first-round quarterbacks taken.
Is that in 1996?
96, first quarterback taken is Tony Banks in the second round by St. Louis.
Oh, my. That's Detroit? Is that right?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. All right. I was close in the region. You know, this was the year that Rocket Ishmael went number one.
No, it's not. That was like 92, I think, or 93 or some shit. 96, Keyshawn Johnson.
It's a good pick.
Number one. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't explosive, though, and that's number one. You want a guy who's changes the game. Like if Randy Moss was a number one pick, the way he exploded into the game, that would make sense.
Chris Carter or some shit.
Yeah, he's
Keyshawn. He did
more of a possession guy.
Yeah, and a mouth,
a good receiver, and a mouth, receiver, obviously decent receiver, but more of a possession guy.
Yeah,
Keyshawn number one, Kevin Hardy, a linebacker for Jacksonville, number two, number three overall, Simeon Rice from
the Cardinals,
to Arizona, and I know he held out, and that was a mess. Number four overall, nice job, Arizona, by the way, here. Instead of picking, Simeon was a good player, though, for him. Like shouldn't say that. But Jonathan Ogden was a better player for Baltimore. Matter of fact, it's Jonathan Ogden, then you see three other letters next to it that are H, O, and F that say how much better he is. Yeah, the Hall of Fame. Yeah. But then the Giants, even dumber, picked Cedric Jones as a defensive end after that. He sucked. Lawrence Phillips, number 6, that's one of our first alumni.
Yeah.
I think that's our second episode.
Yeah, I think so too.
Lawrence Phillips. And then finally, number 7 overall, the New England Patriots picked Terry Glenn.
He was drafted in 96.
Number
7. Those people.
Those people. Wait till you hear the rest of the people in this draft. You're going to go, they picked him number 7? Really?
Isaac Bruce in this one, too?
He looked explosive. No, I don't think so. But another Hall of Fame receiver is in this first round, and that is Marvin Harrison.
Okay, yeah, Colts.
You could have had Marvin Harrison at number 19, so just keep that in mind this whole time.
He was so good.
After him, you got Tim Biakabatuka, who was decent. I don't know why you'd pick him number 8 overall, but that's fine. Eddie George, number 14.
Oh.
So if I'm Carolina, they're the real – Carolina and St. Louis are the real fuck-ups because they drafted running backs ahead of Eddie George.
Wow.
Which is stupid because Eddie George had a great career. John Mobley, the linebacker for Denver there.
Yep.
Hall of Famer named Marvin Harrison, like I said, at number 19. Then you get to number 26, and you get another guy with a little HOF next to his name, Ray Lewis, after that.
Is that right?
Absolutely. So this is a big-time draft where you could have gotten Hall of Fame players, and unless you chose to take Terry Glenn instead.
Some of the best players of the early 2000s were drafted right now.
Brian Dawkins in the second round, Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Amani Toomer went in the second round. Who's a damn good receiver. A lot of good players in this, but no superstar quarterback, so the draft kind of gets forgotten here. So 96, he's selected by the Patriots. He signs a 6-year, $12 million contract.
Right out of the gate. Yeah.
Right out of the gate.
May as well sign one. It's granted,
top 10.
Yeah, it's good money. It's not some of the best money I've ever heard of.
No. Well, he's
a guy that grew up with no dad, no heat sometimes.
Yeah.
The $12 million will carry you forever.
And $5 million of it's probably up front. So
yeah.
I'm pretty happy there. Bill Parcells hated him. Bill Parcells was the coach of the Patriots at the time and also ran the whole, ran the team, but wasn't in charge of the draft. The ownership takes the draft.
Sure.
He wanted a defensive player.
Oh, he wanted Ray Lewis.
Yeah. This was one of those things. Remember the famous Parcells press conferences where he was saying, they want me to make the meal, but they don't let me go get the groceries.
Oh.
He was saying that this is what he's talking about is your draft. I'm telling you what I need on the field to win, and you're drafting guys I don't want. Yeah. You're giving me a speedy little wide receiver who, if you know anything about Bill Parcells, he knows nothing what to do with that guy. The Giants, no. Here, the Giants were a really good team with a lot of wins and a couple Super Bowl, 2 Super Bowls in 10 years there, and 5 years in the 80s and early 90s there. Name one of their wide receivers from that era.
Don't know any.
There you go. You can name all of their linebackers, though, and defensive players and all that, but not their wide receivers. You don't know Lionel Manuel very much, do you? No, there's a reason for that. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker. You don't know anything about him, do you? Exactly. So there's a reason for that. So he would make Parcells to let everyone know how pissed off he was about Terry Glenn. And this sucks for Terry Glenn because it's not his fault. Right. It's not like he forced the Patriots to draft him. They fucking drafted him.
Right.
Like, not his fault at all, but Parcells really takes it to him, and he pulled a hamstring. Terry, not Bill Parcells.
Yeah.
I assume Bill Parcells pulls something every day, but
Terry pulled Bill's hamstring.
Yeah. 2 weeks into training camp, and it forced him to miss the rest of the training camp. And when they would ask about his condition all the time, how's your number one draft pick coming along, health-wise, he would say, quote, she's making progress.
Oh!
He would constantly refer to Terry Glenn as a she. Constantly. Now,
very NFL funny.
Exactly. Very old man.
Yeah.
She's making progress.
Yeah.
But he didn't ask for this.
No.
He didn't. That's not fair to him. And also, like, for him, it's like, hey, call me she all you want. That's you're not going to beat my mom to death, are you? Because, again, can't hurt me.
Right.
Anymore. Like, I am fucking.
But that's indicative of I'm a weak man. I'm not a man. I'm incapable of fulfilling what he needs me to be on this team, and it's got to hurt a little bit
it's not
emotionally.
his fault.
But again, you can't beat my mother to death. You can't hurt me.
There's nothing you can do to hurt me. So his rookie year, the Patriots have a storybook year because they were terrible. Since the Super Bowl, they got trounced in by the Bears. They were terrible after that, especially the early 90s. They were, if you go, what are they playing? The Patriots? That's like, of course they won 35-0. They were terrible in the early 90s.
They had to change their logo because that logo, that white helmet with that guy bent over, was the most like.
Yeah, Mike Ditka was behind that guy giving him fucking some pipe. That's why.
It was a goddamn joke.
It got tough on him. So 11-5 this year with Parcells. They beat the Steelers 28-3 in the first round of the playoffs. Wow. So that's a thumping. They beat Jacksonville. Imagine how far out Bill Cowher's jaw was sticking during that loss. It was like popping out of his head.
His pug face.
Oh man. They beat Jacksonville, and this was interesting because this was Jacksonville's second year in the league. Mm-hmm. You remember this year? It was Jacksonville and Carolina, both their second years, and both of them went to the championship games that year. Yeah. That was crazy. So they beat Jacksonville 20-6, and then they go to the Super Bowl against the Packers and lose that Super Bowl with Brett Favre and Desmond Howard having a great day and all that shit, 35-21. So his first year, he's in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. That's great.
Goes from Ohio State being a successful program right into the Super Bowl. This was the Drew Bledsoe, by the way.
That's very lucky that he gets to catch passes from Drew Bledsoe and then Tom Brady. That's incredible.
Oh, Dave Meggett's on this team, too, another alumni.
Oh, really?
So a few,
Door
there you
slamming
go.
asshole.
Ooh, he's an asshole, boy.
God, he sucks.
If you want, go back and listen to the Dave Meggett episode. Number one, not only is it the origins of the Shawarma Man, first of all, but it's also there's a lot of other origins in there, and you can. It's a weird one though because it's before we had a studio, so we might sound funny. We sound like we're 12, And people always say, oh, my God, they sound so young in the first ones. It's like, we had microphones that had no bass in them. Of course we sounded 12. If we recorded right now, we'd sound 12 on those mics. They had just terrible microphones in the beginning. We didn't have any money or any way to
technology.
No access to a fucking good microphone. We were using fucking clip-on
If you saw the
lavalier
neighborhood,
mics.
you'd be like, oh, yeah, of course that's what they had.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, if you saw the living room in the apartment complex we were doing this in, you go, oh, Jesus, you guys did great. Never mind.
I drove by that place the other day, almost got in an accident on that side street because somebody
God.
pulled out of the park, James. Somebody was parked in the park.
Perfect.
On the grass.
That's not surprising.
Great neighborhood.
Oh, that was a terrible neighborhood. That's how this show started. That's the origins of this show, by the way. So, this year, they obviously, great year for him. Everything couldn't be going better. May of 1996, by the way, before the season, something very good happens for him.
The birth.
Know about the rest of the world here. A son is born, Jimmy.
You betcha.
A son is born. Terry Glenn Jr. Of course it is, Jimmy. Of course it's Terry Glenn Jr. Are you kidding me?
Oh,
this is Crime in Sports.
Yeah,
it's every
that sounds right.
fucking episode. This is insanity. It's every fucking episode.
As him, I can understand it with him because he wants to be, he wants a dad around. You know, I mean, the dad thing it matters to him a big deal.
He's got like a dad fetish at this point. I'm gonna be you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna father the shit out of that kid.
That's the porno he watches.
Yeah. Look at that. Look at him throw that ball. Oh man, look at him. Yeah. He just encouraged his son after he dropped it. He said, "That's okay, son. Next time, just use both hands."
Jerks off watching Andy Griffith.
He's like, you and Opie going down to the fishing hole. Yeah. Come on. Yeah, Opie. Show him how to bait that hook, Andy. Yeah.
Jerks off to Chevrolet commercials.
Tell him it's polite to say ma'am. Yeah, come on, Andy.
Yeah, wash your hands before dinner.
Oh, Christ.
Loop, swoop, and pull.
You got that.
How to tie his shoes. God
That's what I want to see.
I'm rock hard.
Fuck, I'm hard. Ward just helped Beaver with his homework. Oh, my God. His dad knows algebra. I'm gonna fucking blow everywhere, man.
Fucking pack that lunch.
It's like I'm like a volcano right now. I'm ready to fucking explode.
Holy shit.
So
poor Terry.
Terry's having a rough
go. All he
go.
wants is a dad.
I know. And when he's given a chance in college, doesn't play that often. When they put him in, record setting.
Earns
here,
it. Yeah.
She's doing okay. She. During the season, he starts 15 of the 16 games, has 90 receptions for 1,132 yards and 6 touchdowns.
Oh, my God. That's got to rank in their records for sure.
It is actually the most ever in a single season by an NFL rookie in NFL history. At the time, I don't know if that could be broken now.
Not even just for the Patriots. Whole fucking league.
Whole league. And the second most catches by a receiver in franchise history.
There you go.
And he's named second alternate for the Pro Bowl that year.
She is named.
Yeah. Show her some respect.
That's what happens. You fucking say it again about me.
Now
you ever do this, Bill?
Yeah, that's what I mean. How the fuck? So the next season, Pete Carroll comes in as the coach. Remember when he had that short-lived run?
Oh, that's right. And he was so bad.
Yeah, between Parcells and Belichick, there was a Pete Carroll moment, and then he left here, went to USC, had that USC dynasty, and ended up in Seattle. That's how this went. He cheated his way right. Well, did what everyone else was doing.
Right.
Apparently better. Right.
Cheated
to the top.
harder than everybody else.
Yeah, he's an asshole. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
but all these there's very few college coaches out there running their fucking clean programs
Nobody's
back then and all that kind of shit. So anyway, 10-6 they go this year. They actually beat Miami in the wild card game 17-3.
Yeah.
That was, I believe, Jimmy Johnson went there after went to
that's
Miami.
Right. Yeah, it was the Jimmy Johnson Dolphins.
They lose, that was the wild card game. Divisional round, they lose to the Steelers 7-6.
Ouch.
Jesus Christ. That's an
ugly ass game.
That's a squeaker, man. Fuck. That is rough right there. 7-6. My God. That's crazy. So this year he only plays in 9 games, starts all 9 of those, has 27 receptions for 431 yards, it's 16 yards per reception, which is really good.
Right.
Only 2 touchdowns, but he has an ankle injury for 2 games, hamstring injury for 5.
Oh, no.
When you get these speed guys, that's the problem with speed guys. If everything works great, awesome. Yeah. But if one little thing is fucked up, that guy's not running a 4.340 anymore, and he's useless. You know what I mean?
And a speed guy, you go for the legs, and you tackle low because you can grab a hold of a leg and they can go nowhere.
And they're like tightly geared, like a race car too.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I feel like there's always high RPMs going on with those guys.
And both of those injuries are leg injuries because they're going low on him.
And also just a pull is, that could happen if you're digging hard and all that. Sure. So. Anyway, he has a broken collarbone in the divisional playoff game against the Steelers that they lose 7-6. That hurts. So there we go. 1998, Patriots are 9-7 this year. Okay. Not quite as good. They go to the playoffs, actually.
Yeah.
And lose 25-10 to the Jaguars.
Ouch.
That is ugly. Yeah. that's ugly. This year, that's a huge beating. But Terry has he's in 10 games, starts 9, has 50 receptions for 792 yards, 15.8 yards a reception, and 3 touchdowns. That's pretty big there. That's not bad here. Actually, the yards per reception are big. He's stretching the field, which is a guy like that. That's kind of all you almost want him as a threat, just so you can get your running game off and get your dumping your passes in because he's stretching the field on you.
Deep and mid threats are everything to the game of football.
Deep threats change everything. They change your whole. They change the whole defense. That one guy with 4.3 speed can change the whole game.
Detroit went from being a joke to actually a decent team.
It happens. It happens fast. 1999 Patriots. They go 8-8 that year. Not good for Carroll here. They went 10-7, 10-6, 9-7, 8-8. Just kind of boring. No playoffs this year, by the way. He plays in 14 games, starts 13 of them, leads the team with 69 receptions for 1,147 yards.
Wow.
16.6 per reception, by the way, which is, again, gigantic. 4 touchdowns. And in one of the games, he set a franchise record with 13 receptions for 214 yards. It's against Cleveland, mind you.
Okay.
So let's all calm down a little bit, but still. This is, by the way, the newly reconstituted Cleveland Browns.
They were so bad.
This is their first year of existence, I believe, with Tim Couch in there at quarterback. So anybody could do that to them.
They're better now, but they've stunk for fucking 15, 20 years since they started again. It's been
not great.
They're the Patriots of the 90s.
They are. Yeah. They had in the early 2000s. They had that little time where they were like 10-6 for a year or two, made the playoff. They were like kind of fun as like a kind of just a wild team, and then back to shit again. So not wonderful. Thanksgiving 1999 during this. Oh, he makes the Pro Bowl this year, by the way. Great. Also, Thanksgiving 1999 this year. Terry Glenn is facing a civil lawsuit now.
Oh,
yes, he has been accused in a civil lawsuit of, you want to guess?
Oh, shit. Sexual improprieties.
Yeah, touching a woman inappropriately. And where do you think this happened? I'm not even going to make you guess because you know where it happened.
Nightclub, 2 a.m.
Outside of a nightclub, early Thanksgiving morning.
Oh,
now,
Jesus.
Yes. Happy holidays.
He didn't have to play Thanksgiving Day, evidently.
No. The Patriots had that day off, and he's fine. So this is... Wow. Again, we talk about this all the time. How many times is it a fight or a groping at a nightclub at 2 o'clock in the morning? Go home. Not her, him. You go home. Stop.
Regardless of whether or not you touched her,
people.
You deserve the accusation at this time of night.
Yeah, go home. What's the old quote? Who was it? Jalen Rose or somebody said it, that the only thing open at 2 a.m. is jail and legs. Yeah. Jails and legs.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No, it's not good at all.
You're getting in trouble. So his lawyer, Steve Coleman, said this is really nothing more than a shameless attempt to wrest money from Terry. It's the most hideous form of celebrity nuisance.
Okay.
Now, the lawyer for Felicia Jones, who was at a nightclub with her friends and said Glenn twice touched her inappropriately after trying to get into her limousine thinking it was his.
Oh.
He had a limo coming because he's Terry Glenn.
Oh, baby, I got one too.
Yeah, and it was like somebody graduated from, fucking... Somebody just graduated from community college over here, and yeah, that's what's going on here.
Graduated from Barbizon.
Yeah, hey, Barbizon grad night. So the woman's lawyer said that he preferred to settle out of court, preferred not to have to go through a whole trial here, obviously, and asked for $100,000. Okay. But he said, quote, it became fairly clear last week that they weren't interested in trying to resolve this thing. No, they're saying it didn't happen, so... Mm-hmm. The suit was filed in Suffolk Superior Court, alleging civil battery against Glenn. Filed against Glenn, and emotional distress suffered by Jones, a mother of 2 small children. It says here in the newspaper. So, yeah, they said that a Patriots player whom the lawyer would not identify contacted Jones during the past weekend to try to resolve the matter. So apparently.
He's asking his friends to give a shout.
Terry had another player call up and be like, yo, call this fucking girl up and be like, yo, it's cool, and try to smooth this shit over. Who's the smoothest guy in the locker room?
Is it Tom Brady?
There's 55 guys. He's not even there yet.
No, he's not?
Drew Bledsoe's the quarterback
Michigan?
right now. Yeah, he's still
Drew's
in Michigan.
Not doing shit for you.
No, and Tom's not exactly a real smooth talker either, so they could get like one of the defensive backs with some game or some shit,
Tom's not even handsome yet. He's still got a doughy chest.
Oh, yeah, he's still a doughy little fucker. He's still a doughy teenager at this point. He's like 19 right now.
Right.
So the very next day, okay, so Thanksgiving happens, then the next day here, he gets a speeding ticket.
Oh.
And that is because he is 2 hours late for practice.
Oh.
And has a speeding ticket and everything and is 2 hours late. Shows up without explanation. So Pete Carroll benched him for the first quarter of a game and said, I think it was better for our team because it gave us a different look. You don't want the guy who gets 16 yards of reception in there.
They didn't know how to cover us because our best player's on the bench.
It gives us a slower, more easily controlled look. I like it. It gives us less options, which is, a lot easier for our quarterbacks. We really like that. Jesus Christ. That's funny. Glenn said the coach is the head coach and it's his right. But coming in late to a meeting doesn't keep you from being a championship team. He said, practice? We're talking about practice. He just did an Allen Iverson.
Yeah, he did.
Practice? Come on. So he Championships? Come on. They haven't been to a Super Bowl in a couple years. And that was with a completely different coach.
And their winnings are plummeting every year. One last what championship? This is the playoffs. What playoffs? We're not going to make the playoffs.
He said, "You're telling me that me being late's the reason we're not winning the Super Bowl?" And it's like, yeah, no, probably not. And but doesn't help though. Here, that's the problem. He misses the 15th game of the season against the Bills because of the flu, and then he was suspended for the rest of the season, the last game, by Pete Carroll for failing to show up for treatment for the flu.
Because he didn't have the flu.
Probably not. If you're sick or injured or any reason not being able to play in the NFL, you have to show up at the facility for treatment of said illness or injury, or else you're going against your contract. That's in your contract. Is they have to be able to look you over, give you, check the gums in the fucking butthole and everything. So
run a quick temperature check.
Run a quick temp check on him there. So Terry Glenn, he was sick, and there's an article in the newspaper here that says, this is the Portland Press Herald, and it says, Pat's sick of what ails Glenn.
Oh,
sick of
it is, yeah.
Terry Glenn was sick last week, and more than a few of his teammates are sick about it, or sick of it.
Okay.
Oh, they're going to turn his teammates on him now. Yeah. Frankly, so is his coach. That seemed to be the case Monday, 24 hours after a case of the red, white, and blue flu kept Glenn home instead of at work against the Buffalo Bills. Willie McGinnis was mightily peeved about this, as were more than a few of Glenn's other teammates, including Bruce Armstrong, who remains the team's spiritual leader, even if he is no longer its captain. Armstrong, who's been playing hurt for more than half of this season, was especially upset about Glenn's absence, but kept relatively mum about it because he said a week ago, the time for philosophizing is done. All he would say was, quote, I couldn't foresee a situation where I wouldn't play in a game because of the flu, but I'm kind of old-fashioned. These guys look at things different. Everybody's different. Okay, there, old man, but that's fine. I mean, I get what he's saying, but at the same time...
The gist of it is there, but he could have said it a different way.
You could have said it. Also, you're not a speed receiver. That's the other thing. So it's a little different. But you should play with the flu, probably. I don't fucking know how bad. If he had a terrible flu, if he had 104 fever, I don't know.
I think they assumed that it was the brown bottle one, not necessarily one that had a virus or any sort of bacteria.
That's probably true. Some flus make you shit yourself a lot. They were saying this was a flu that was making him full of shit. It was keeping it in. He couldn't get rid of it.
Except for out of his mouth when he talked.
That's the shit coming out then. Yeah, absolutely. So he's apparently, they're saying he's having a hard time here. The article says, this is nasty, says, quote, certainly that is true of Glenn, a splendid athlete who after 4 years in New England has yet to grasp that eventually boys have to become men.
I mean, he didn't have a dad, you guys.
That's what I mean.
Calm down.
Or really a mom for the most part. That's a shot. That's like a character shot in the newspaper. That's not even like, hey, you should play, be tougher. This is like a shot at his character. Yeah. It says what he does is called professional football because it's a profession. It's not about pom-poms and girls anymore. It's not about showing up when the mood strikes you or whatever time you deem appropriate. The job is about showing up, period. Glenn needs to learn that soon because if he doesn't, one of these days someone's going to tell him he doesn't have to show up anymore, and then it will be too late.
This time in journalism created what is now the TV angle of it, where it's professionals comment and say that shit because this guy sounds like a dickhead.
He sounds like a dickhead. No, he sounds
zero
like
athletic ability.
He'd be sitting across from a former NFL player on a morning talk show right now, probably. If he
telling
was
him how to do his job. It's like, go fuck yourself.
Telling him how good Johnny Manziel was going to be.
You don't know. You've never done this. Shut up.
Jesus. He said, that doesn't mean there are no sick days in football. It just means you don't take so many that the people around you, that make the people around you sick. As Bill Parcells once said, in football season, football players play football. Oh, is
that right? Do they?
Jesus Christ. I figured out a way to fucking shoehorn the word football into a sentence 3 times.
With the last coach that won here.
Yeah, Jesus, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Sunday was football season, but not all the football players played. More than a few of Glenn's associates, it would be a mistake to call them teammates, it says in parentheses, were feeling under the weather Sunday. There were broken knees and torn up arms and aching shoulders in the locker room. Even a few guys with the flu, but they came to work, with one exception. Glenn did not work. That's right. Glenn did not work Friday or Saturday, excused both days by the training staff. No one has tried to argue Glenn didn't have the flu, but when he asked Coach Pete Carroll if he should come in Sunday, and more to the point, whether he would play if he did, Carroll didn't like the tone and told him to forget it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Was this a medical excuse? Technically, yes, but there was more to this than Carroll responding to a medical situation. It was a psychological situation, too, not unlike many others involving Glenn the past 3 years.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
Good
Glenn's
Lord.
never going to let this go either. This is
Holy shit.
He's never going to forget all of this.
Oh, no, I don't know how he would. This is really a lot. And this is how all the media was. It says, quote, but this time Carol reacted like an exasperated boss who was simply tired of the mental games being played by a wayward employee and told him, fine, stay home till you feel better. Yeah, Carol said Monday, I like to see a guy drag himself out of bed and do whatever he could to get here. Then we tell him he's too sick to play or too hurt to play, and we had to do that by the information we were getting. And we had to do that, but we've had a lot of guys that have fought through it and made it. How sick was he? Maybe that's something you should be wondering. I don't know. Pretty sick. They're all pretty sick. These guys have been real sick. He wasn't asked to show up. He was told to stay home, and his inability to bounce back from the flu bug that a lot of our players have gone through was why. He wasn't ready to play in the game. That's Pete Carroll.
It's December in Boston. Everybody's sick.
We're all
Everybody
got a little,
has the flu.
That's what I mean. Carroll said about
cold.
He said about a dozen players had the flu in recent weeks, but all but two of them played. The other one was the guy actually made the trip to the game, but the team told him not to play in the locker room because he was too sick. He didn't. He's
shitting his tights.
He was ready to play, though. Yeah. They said the decision was made in Carroll's mind Saturday night. He said, I don't want to come off like I'm really questioning it because I don't know. But I'm not that guy. But we always want to see examples of our guys doing everything they possibly can to get on the playing field. That's what his teammates might be commenting on. They might be questioning that.
He says through chomps of gum.
Wow. He said, I said early in the week that I was going to go with the guys that are ready to play and that they are going to give it a great effort and all that. And there were some choices made during the week to do that. In this instance, there was no question in my mind he wasn't playing. I told him, you're not playing. Don't bother coming. Stay in bed. You're sick? Stay in bed. Because I didn't see the signs that showed me he was ready to make it back. He wanted to come down. He was told to stay home. There's no big distinction there, or there's a big distinction there. On teams, you have all kinds of people, and they have different character and different natures about them. Here we go. As you grow with these players and bring them along, you teach them how to deal with things. Some guys get it more than other guys. So some guys get it more. That's all. So he obviously doesn't get it.
Let's say he shows up and he plays and he catches a ball and shits himself and throws up at the same time and the ball squirts out and the other team runs it back for a touchdown. Is that his fault or is that Coach Carroll's fault?
I think it's at that point, yeah, we're going to have, and also there's shit on the ball at that point, which is a problem.
And in my tights, running down my leg.
No one wants that. In my white uniform pants. This isn't good. Sir Silver at the time, who knows? Yeah. Silver will really pop. It'll be nice. So they said that goes on in the article, quote, in other words, despite 1,147 receiving yards and 16.6 yard per catch average this season, Glenn doesn't fully get what it means to be a professional. He doesn't get what his responsibilities are or that they extend beyond his world into a larger universe that encompasses 52 other players and a busload of coaches and staff, more than a few of whom also might not be feeling so hot. Because he doesn't get it, he was left home Sunday despite expressing a desire to play. He was neither fined nor suspended. Something worse happened. He was told the team would get by without him. There is nothing worse. Carroll says,
"We don't need you.
We don't need you." Carroll says, in this guy's case, he's not even using his name. That's not a good sign. When Coach goes, in this guy's case, yeah, I think it's worse than she.
Yeah, I think
At
so
least they're making you a human, a female human, but a human.
And it shows the disdain that he has for this particular person. This guy's just like, this guy.
This guy, I don't even care about him. In this guy's case, I have worked extremely long and hard to try to get a way to get him to contribute to this club, and some of it has worked and some of it hasn't. Some of it has gone as well as I would have liked. I readily admit that. It's a very unusual situation and a very unusual kid with an unusual background. Finally, someone acknowledges that you're not dealing with someone who's been... I know a lot of the players have fucked up backgrounds, but not quite this fucked up.
Murder touched his life when he was 13 and ruined his life.
Mom, in a bad way. That's tough. He said, quote, "It's been hard at times to reach him and to get him on the same page with the rest of our guys. And I don't know how good he is with older, quote, father figure types. Motherfucker, don't you act like we're close. And you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are sensitive about that shit.
Don't try to be my dad.
Yeah. You know, it's the Goodwill Hunting Robin Williams thing where he's like, no, man. You know, it's that shit. Like, hey, leave me the fuck alone.
And P.S., don't try to be my dad. Because when I see him, it's on site, all right?
Yeah, that's the thing. I'll fuck my dad up. In my mind, he killed my mom. So, listen.
Exactly.
He said, the guy didn't do enough in practice to be worthy of playing in this game. That's what I'm telling you. He has a very unique background and very unique qualities as an athlete, but there's a challenge to bring into the fold. Or he's a challenge to bring into the fold. So then the article goes on. He's a challenge his teammates and coach have grown weary of facing. He's a challenge they've begun to see lately as more of a pain than a promise. He's a challenge about whom one veteran said last week, quote, Parcells was right about Terry. He needs somebody on his butt every minute, not just in football, in life. Jesus Christ. They are, fuck. The sad truth.
They hate their number one.
They hate him. The article wraps up by saying the sad truth is that there's only one person who can do that, and his name is Terry Glenn. So, fuck. Here's this guy. We hate him. Obviously, you should hate him. His coach hates him. All his teammates hate him. What the fuck if you're this guy? What do you do at that point?
There's a limo passenger that hates him.
There's a limo passenger that surely hates him, yeah. So he ends up being suspended by the Patriots for the flu thing, like we said, because then he didn't show up for, after that, he didn't show up for treatment. After they said all that, then he doesn't show up for treatment that week. So not great for Glenn. He doesn't show up, and he was told by Carroll not to go to the game. Then Carroll said he didn't report on Monday and to be seen by trainers, Monday or Tuesday.
Oh.
He said, quote, there was too little communication here. Compliance wasn't there like it needed to be. He's not the right kind of attitude to be with us for this week. Wow. His agent said, we intend to fight this. To make him the scapegoat is not the way it's going to go down.
There you go.
Yeah, you're having a terrible season and you're trying to say it's all his fault. Don't fire me. He is being an asshole, but Pete Carroll has worse problems because they're not fucking winning. That's his problem.
Right.
The rest of it's irrelevant. Yeah. If they're 12-4, this isn't an issue.
This doesn't matter. This doesn't matter.
No one's writing about this. No one fucking cares about this. And Pete Carroll especially isn't going to blame everything on him because he's too busy taking credit for all the wins. There you go. So the NFL suspends Terry Glenn for the first 4 games of the regular season.
Wow.
In January, they suspend him, not for anything he did on the team there, because he fails a drug test. Violates the terms of the weed.
Oh,
it's stupid. So he fails a test for weed, which is so fucking ridiculous that they've continued to do that for 20 years, and now they've stopped, right?
Yeah, I think they stopped because it's legal in some states.
Isn't it now during the season you can't smoke? I think it is.
I don't know if
but
there's
they don't test you for marijuana during the off-season. They made like some weird half-assed compromise with it where...
And they did it because it's legal in some of the states that the teams are in, and other states it's not, and that's just not fair to them.
It's legal in literally half the states in the country. Right. Let's all fucking stop with this bullshit now. Gee, these grown men who get, bashed in all the time, maybe want to smoke a joint on the... no. I would think it's don't smoke before the game, probably, but also don't drink beer before the game or do anything that fucks you up before a fucking football game. That's just common sense.
Don't use any substances that are going to leave you vulnerable to being injured. You know what I mean? Keep your fucking head in the game.
That helps. Yeah, let's try that. So 2000 New England, Pete Carroll gets fired that year. Bye, Pete. So he deserved it. He fucking deserved it.
Yeah.
What a dickhead, man. What a silver-haired, middle-aged shitbag.
And by then he was.
I'll blame my players for me going 10-6, 9-7, 8-8. It's all that guy's fault.
Did they go 8-8 his last season?
Yeah, they're 8-8. Okay. Shit. So 2000 is when they bring Bill Belichick in, and his first year, because he kind of cleans house a bit here. His first year, they're 5-11 there. So. Not bad, but that's kind of how he does things. He's got to
starts it all fresh. Yeah.
He's got to start fresh that year. Tom Brady is drafted this year,
right?
Late in the draft. They get Teddy Bruschi, all these guys. So trying to have a different team, but Drew Bledsoe actually is the one who
he's the starter. Yeah,
he's the starter at the beginning of the year. November of this year, this is amazing. He is given a 6-year, $50 million contract extension.
Wow.
Including an $11.5 million signing bonus.
Maybe the valuable ones don't get the flu.
That's the thing. Yeah.
If we give you more money, maybe you don't get the flu again.
Maybe you don't get the flu. Well, at the end of the day, they realized, he averages 16.5 yards of fucking reception. Right. Someone's going to sign him because he stretches the field, period. Right. We're going to lose our deep threat. That's it.
And that time with football, yards after the catch was enormous. That's why Tony Gonzalez was valuable as fuck. Ashley Lilly was getting big money. All these guys were getting big money because after the catch fucking mattered.
Also, what kind of quarterback is Drew Bledsoe? Sit in the pocket, throw deep, big-armed, cannon-armed quarterback. You need a receiver who can get down the field.
Run that down. Yep.
quickly enough before he gets sacked to throw it to him. So there you go. December of 2000. Okay, this is pretty interesting. Ty Law, the cornerback for great player here. It was he's suspended for the season finale of the season here because he was caught at the Canadian border with ecstasy.
Oh, Ty.
Yeah, that's a problem. Bill Belichick said, quote, "It's a closed case. I really don't think it's appropriate to talk about the details and circumstances." That's all he would say about it.
Ask his lawyer. I don't
know. Just ask him. NFL spokeswoman Greg Aiello. He'll talk about it. There you go.
We have the Dolphins this weekend. That's all.
You want to talk about that? I'm thinking about next week right now. Not yesterday or who's been arrested next week. So NFL spokesman Greg Aiello said the league will determine whether Law violated its substance abuse policy. Belichick said his decision was made independently of any punishment that might be coming from the league. Now, Ty Law was their 95 first-round draft pick, and Law, who was afraid to fly, was given permission along with receivers Terry Glenn and Troy Brown to stay in Buffalo after the season's the last Sunday's game against the Bills so they could wait out a snowstorm. Players went to a strip club across the border.
Yeah.
As one does.
Sure.
Then when they tried to come back across the border at 5:30 a.m. to catch their return flight, customs inspectors searched the car and found some pills, and that was fucking ecstasy. So, and our guy was in the car is why we're talking about this.
Of course he was.
Yeah, there you go. So because it was a small amount, he paid a $700 fine and was allowed to continue on his way. So he just had to buy, he could like pay it off right there at the border.
Throw it in the
That's
trash
awesome.
And take this money. It's good.
Yeah, here you go. Let me get the fuck out of here. But he missed his flight and was late for a team meeting, as were Glenn and Brown, who waited for him at the airport while he got processed and paid his fine and everything. So, wow. Law said the drugs were found in a suitcase that belonged to his cousin who stayed at his house all the time. My damn cousin, man. I don't know. I let him borrow my luggage and shit.
Live PD?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's in my pants. It's not mine.
These aren't my pants.
These aren't my pants. That's my favorite one. Not I didn't know it was in my pants. These aren't my pants. I take strange people's pants, I put them on and wear them all day. I don't even check the pockets. It's pretty cool. I don't even know. Could be meth. Could be meth in there. Maybe. I don't know. I don't check.
I found them.
I just found these pants. I put them on. Ty Law said, I had no idea that it was in my bag. He said that I know this sounds stupid and maybe a little bit unbelievable, but that's the truth. It's the honest-to-God truth.
It's on my back.
He offered to take a drug test to prove he's clean.
Yeah.
It's not me. Belichick, they asked whether he believed his player's explanation. Belichick said, quote, it's not about that. And then wouldn't say anything more.
Oh, it's the fact that he had it. He should know
It's the
better.
fact that I don't care. Don't have ecstasy in your house. Right. Whatever you do, don't embarrass my fucking team. Don't care if you could have a suitcase full of ecstasy, leave it at your fucking house, and don't bring it into Canada. So this year, Terry starts all 16 games.
Wow.
79 receptions, 963 yards, 6 touchdowns, 12.2 per reception. So a little bit lower.
Sure.
May of 2001. Okay, this is a problem here. A little bit of a problem the next season here. He is arraigned on May 16th on charges stemming from an apparent custody dispute involving the mother of his 5-year-old son, Terry Jr.
He gave him his name, but not his money.
Not his money. Well, apparently it's a custody dispute, so I don't know if it's a child support thing, but he's going to end up charged with assault here.
Oh.
Yes, he pleads innocent, released on $1,000 bail. He was arrested at his home in Walpole, charged with 1 count of assault and battery and 1 count of intimidation of a witness. Apparently, an attorney said that outside the courthouse that it was a pending matter in the state of Ohio concerning the boy, and that he wouldn't go into specifics, but said that Terry Glenn adamantly denies the charges.
Of course.
And looks forward to resolving this issue in court.
I would too. Yeah.
The mother of the child will later recant the whole thing, which we see this with athletes all the time. We don't know if it's because they actually made it up or because they said, listen, motherfucker, the money you get that I get is based on me being on this team, where if I get arrested for shit, I'm not going to be on this fucking team anymore. None of us will have anything. I think that happens a lot.
Do you like to eat? You better not get the fuck off.
Yeah, you like fucking living in that nice condo and shit like that, and I think that's some controlling shit.
Yeah.
I think that's what they do. So 11-5 the next season, 2001.
That's so good.
Yes, 11-5, and this is they win 16-13 against Oakland. I'm putting "win" in air quotes here.
Yeah, that was the Tuck
against
bullshit.
Oakland. That was the Tuck bullshit.
Yeah.
I watched every minute of that game because a snowy football game. I'll watch 8-year-olds play in the snow. It's just awesome to watch football in the snow.
Yeah,
so
the snow puffs, the slipping, the sliding, trying to keep it together. It's awesome.
Everything is just different. The way it looks, it's just so. Yeah. It looks like it's the 50s or something. It's awesome.
It also looks like if I suited up and did it, I could do it as well as they're doing it.
As fast as them.
Yeah.
It takes all of the splendor out of it. It really does. I love that.
So sloppy and awful. I love it.
It takes world-class athletes and turns them into us. Turns them into podcasting comedians. That's what it turns them into.
Fat beer-drinking fucks that are in the stands.
It's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
So that was the Tuck rule, and then go back and watch that. That's a whole big deal, and it's stupid. Then they beat the Steelers 24-7.
Right.
Go on to the Super Bowl to beat the Rams 20-17. This is the ascension of Tom Brady and all this type of shit. So big deal there for them. Terry, though, only plays in 4 games. Starting one of them, has 14 receptions. Wow. 204 yards. So not great. That's because he is suspended here. The NFL suspends him for 4 games, and the team suspends him for the rest of the season.
What happened?
You go ahead and stay home there.
Yeah.
He has not shown up at training camp since August 3rd when he received word of the league suspension for violating the substance abuse policy here. Belichick said he was disappointed, but decided it was time to concentrate on the players in camp. He said that, he said, quote, this is about being in training camp and playing football. This is Belichick. I've extended myself, and I think the coaching staff has extended itself pretty far. I'm going to spend my time and energy on the players that are here.
Okay.
Next question. So Belichick said it was his decision. He told Robert Kraft, and he said, sure, I guess. So the day Glenn left camp, the Patriots sent a letter to both his agent and to Glenn, warning that he risked suspension if he did not return in 5 days.
Okay.
His agent said he was trying to set up a meeting with the team when he was told Tuesday that Terry Glenn had been suspended without pay and placed on the reserve left squad list. Reserve left behind.
Yeah.
He said Glenn wanted to return to camp. His agent said the team also is taking away Glenn's signing bonus.
Oh?
His agent said, I was just asking for a meeting because we were on our way back. It proves they never wanted him there. No, it proves they said we got a bad contract and we're going to try to
work this out.
That's what it is. Yeah, we're going to try to not do it. He said, Belichick said that's not the case. He said, I fully expect Terry to be with the New England Patriots in the future. What do you think?
For less money.
Glenn claimed that his most recent violation was a missed drug test, not a failed drug test.
Oh.
And he alerted the program's administrators that he would be out of town. He later took a test and tested negative, he said. His agent said that he left training camp because he hadn't been paid since June 15th.
Oh.
Yeah, he said they owe him money and that's why he's not there. He was at training camp without receiving one penny, yet they felt they had the right to compel him to be there. Wow. Lawyer Malloy, the linebacker, said, quote, it's just a cancer to us right now. As a whole, that situation probably needed to die as soon as possible. Jesus Christ. He used cancer and die when talking about a wide receiver. That seems a bit harsh.
Teammate.
Holy shit. So apparently there is statements are thrown out. There's his domestic abuse case that's going on here. There's damaging. The court threw out some damaging statements made by his ex-girlfriend and their 5-year-old son on the night of the incident.
Oh, he said something too?
This is the thing. Yeah, the Patriots, they say that he's facing a trial in February on assault and battery charge stemming from the May 15th incident. He said that they said he assaulted Kimberly Combs, the mother of his son. Prosecutors wanted to use Combs' statement to police and those of Terrence Jr., who, when asked by police what happened, he said, Daddy pushed Mommy first.
Oh, no.
That's not good. So the woman, though, what's her name here? I just had it and I lost it.
Combs.
I can't remember her first name here. Either way,
Sean's sister.
Sean's sister, Puffy Combs, Kimberly Combs. There you go. Kimberly, she later recanted the charges and has refused to cooperate with the prosecution.
Okay.
So they said that they ruled saying that the statements are inadmissible, and but they don't throw the case out either. So how are you going to have a case when she's not cooperating, though? There you go. Prosecutors do drop the felony intimidation of a witness charge against Glenn because they would need her corroboration on that one.
Right.
But they can continue to pursue the assault charge there. So February 7th, 2002, he's reinstated from suspension.
Okay.
All right. They're talking about a trade that would send him to the Packers, but they're trying to work it out. They're having problems. They have agreed to send Glenn to the Packers for a 4th-round draft pick this season, plus a pick next year. Jesus, that's not...
Wow, that's a shitty trade. That's got to feel terrible.
I mean, if you're the Packers, you could steal a guy who could be
a great deal.
I mean, if he is back to his regular form. They said the sticking point was the many grievances Glenn filed against the New England Patriots over suspensions, fines, and withholding $8.5 million of his signing bonus.
Okay.
A hearing on the grievances was scheduled, and so they were waiting for that to be kind of worked out here. So March 10th, 2002, he ends up being traded, and he signs a 5-year contract with the Packers. And he said that I wanted to thank the Packers for the chance to revitalize his career, and saying that he wants to be, quote, normal, basically. That's a good place to start.
Basically.
Let's start with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we'll go from there.
Terry Glenn left before they got great?
Yeah, they won Super Bowl. They got, just the one.
How about that?
That's all. Yeah, that's all he could get. And he wasn't even on that team. I mean, he was technically on the team, but he was suspended the whole fucking season. So what good is that? So they signed him. Normal, basically. He said, quote, I'm very grateful to be here. I am going to do all I can to try and turn everything around that has happened.
Okay.
That's right. He said, quote, I want to do what is right. I want to win football games. I want to be a team player.
Okay.
That's right there. So not bad. The coach here of the Packers said, I realize the risk taking Terry, but I think he might be worth it there. And Terry said, I felt all I needed was a second chance to really show what I'm about, show what kind of person I am and what I can do. I just want to be normal, basically. Basically normal, which I got to say, if you're Terry Glenn, I don't know how you could have. It started out like shit right from the start with the Patriots. He's had 3 coaches in fucking 5 years, number one. That's not great.
And they all hated him.
They all fucking hated him. Belichick gave him a chance at first,
did,
it seemed like. But Parcells, you came in before you do Dick, you're she, and he's making fun of you to everybody.
Yeah.
Then Pete Carroll comes in, and you're already the whipping boy to pick on because that's what everybody's set up already.
And now you're the scapegoat to save my fucking career.
Yeah. To Pete Carroll's shitty coaching and the organization's general bad personnel decisions. That's your problem now. You looked at their roster and you go, oh, that's his fault that you fucking didn't sign this guy or you made a bunch of bad draft picks. Was Terry Glenn drafting for you in the late 90s? I don't think he was.
And you took a kid who the world and God has literally shit in his mouth.
Shunned on and Cleveland steamered the bad boy. That's
you picked this guy and then you're just going to use him to as the reason that everything sucks around here?
Fucking ridiculous. As a part of this deal, Glenn agrees to drop the grievances against the Patriots.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. You got to leave all that behind. Yeah. So he does to get on with his career here, which makes sense. Yeah. Packers in 2002, 12-4.
Wow.
Yeah, 12-4. Crushing. This is still the Brett Favre Packers. And
they were that good.
They were that
didn't
good.
Make the Super Bowl again.
But the problem was they lost 27-7 in the wild card game against the Falcons.
Oh, God.
That is not good at all. So, yeah, he has 15 games he plays, 14 starts, 56 receptions for 817 yards, 14.6 per reception, and 2 touchdowns. So not too bad. He had 2 knee injuries he suffered during training camp. He hyperextended his right knee in practice on July 29th, and then he sprained his left knee, his left MCL on August 7th.
Shit.
So that started him out kind of slow in the beginning of the year here. February 28th, 2003, the Packers trade Terry Glenn to the Cowboys for another now for a 6th round draft pick.
Oh.
Jesus, it was 4, now it's 6. Fuck.
That's a bargain for Dallas. No wonder they took a flyer on him.
Then they love a fast guy that can stretch the field. They always love that. So
and they had T.O. down there at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bill Parcells is there.
Right.
For some reason, Parcells, she. But then he said, I need somebody who can stretch the field. Oh, yeah, that guy can stretch the field. I remember that.
Yeah.
He's not stupid.
I can get him cheap.
Why not? So he started along. It was him and Joey Galloway, who's his college team. And that's the other thing, too. Joey Galloway was like, he's cool, man. It's all right, and I'll keep, I'll be his friend and shit like that. Yeah. So he starts there. He leads the team with 52 receptions for 754 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Yep.
So this is the first time the Cowboys make the playoffs since '99.
Right.
They go 10-6 and lose in the wild card round to Carolina.
Thanks, Tony.
Nice job there. So yeah, think about the guy. This is the Quincy Carter Cowboys.
Oh,
too. So,
really?
Yeah, this is those Cowboys. Quincy Carter, Chad Hutchinson Cowboys. Remember the Hard Knocks Cowboys that year? That's this year.
Right.
I'm pretty sure. It is this year because 2002 was Baltimore and then 2003 was them. So it's tough there. So, or no, maybe it was later with Dave Campo. I'm thinking it was that then. I'm not sure. Doesn't matter.
Quincy Carter I feel so bad for that guy.
We did an episode on him, though. He was also an asshole.
He is, yeah.
He was also a bit of a dick. 2004, Dallas, they go 6-10 that year. Not good. Not good at all. He only plays in 6 games, sprained his right foot in the 6th game against Green Bay, and then is placed on injured reserve.
Oh, no.
24 receptions, 400 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, nothing much there.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Johnson's on this team as well.
Really?
Yeah. December 2005, he is arrested here.
Oh.
He's arrested for a couple things. We'll talk about this.
In Dallas for anything.
Well, on December 30th, this is fun. Yeah. He's arrested for public intoxication and public urination behind a dumpster in a Jack in the Box parking lot.
Oh, no.
We've all been there. Let's be realistic. That could have happened to any of us. Who among us has not been after a long night
in a trash can, find a restaurant,
in a passenger seat or something, kind of drunk of a fast food place, and you're like, I have got to piss, and there's 5 cars in front of us.
I'll go find that can. I don't care.
What am I doing here? Yeah. What's the worst? It already smells like horribly like fast food garbage. What's the difference?
This will make that trash can smell better.
Yep. So he is handcuffed and accused of public intoxication and urinating at a Dallas Jack in the Box.
Ah, damn it.
Oh, my God. That's
how
funny.
far have you fallen?
That's far.
Yeah.
That's far. Imagine.
That's depressing.
You're pissing. Here comes a cop. You got to be like, oh, for real? Jesus Christ.
I play for the Cowboys. Why am I even remotely close to a Jack in the Box?
That's the other thing, because it's real late. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
So he works at this point on several nonprofit projects with his girlfriend at the time. At the time, obviously, these come and go. His girlfriend at the time was a Dallas County law enforcement officer here, that was one of his nonprofits, a Dallas County law enforcement. Oh, his girlfriend was one. Okay.
Oh, my God.
And she was in the domestic violence awareness thing here, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, it's
coming from Terry Glenn but I could see why he'd be attracted to her too.
Sure, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe she can explain what the fuck happened to his life.
Yeah.
What's wrong with my first 13 years of life?
I don't know. I just put cuffs on people like you. I don't know how to fix you.
You just seem real familiar. Well, no, I'm with you to fix you. That's why she's with him, to fix him.
But she doesn't know how to fix him. All she knows how to do is cuff him, put him in. Oh, she's in the actual program.
Relationship.
Yeah.
She's in the relationship to fix him I think that's she's trying to fix him,
Trying to help, yeah.
So they become engaged.
Oh.
And then they get engaged and continue to work on their nonprofit shit, as well as being active in public speaking. What are they talking about?
Huh?
They later separate, though, calling off their engagement in 2007. Don't say why or anything, but they said they'll remain supportive and present in each other's future endeavors.
Why?
I don't know. Apparently he didn't beat her up because she would have shot him probably. So
yeah, but we were never married. Why are we ever going to talk again?
We don't have. If they had kids, it'd be one thing.
We got no reason.
It's the father of my kid. Of course, I'll support him in his future endeavors. No, we just hung out for a couple years.
We didn't even have a goldfish together.
Yeah, I gave him the ring back.
I don't care.
It's over.
This guy.
2005 Cowboys 9-7 under Parcells here. No playoffs. That's not good.
No.
Drew Bledsoe's back this year, though.
What the fuck?
He's in Dallas, so he's reunited with. It's the crew from 8 years ago or 9 years ago.
It's everybody that's ever been in Terry Glenn's life reuniting in Dallas.
That generally doesn't work in football, though, when they try to recreate something.
Yeah.
It's everybody's older. There's different times. He does finish with 63 receptions, 1,136 yards, and an 18.3 yard average per reception. Which
College
was first in the NFC, that is.
Yeah.
And 7 touchdowns. Part of this, I think, is Quincy Carter and Chad Hutchinson can't throw a fucking deep ball to save their goddamn lives. So if you're a receiver, you do have to depend on having a quarterback who can actually get you the fucking ball.
Right, yeah.
You have to. If your quarterbacks suck, it's not going to fucking work. So
and
that's the thing.
They've got 3 receivers. He may be the 2 or 3 in the lot, and those guys may be covered downfield. So they're just dropping it off to him, where he's getting 8-9 after the catch too.
Yeah, well, I think he's mainly a deep guy, though. He's mainly you run down the streak that
you go
shit.
Get it?
Yeah, against the Chiefs, he caught a touchdown pass on a flea flicker, which is fun, and rushed for a touchdown on an end around as well. So trick plays that he's the center of. Against the Chiefs, he had 6 receptions for 157 yards. So very good year. Like I said, leading the league in yards per reception. March 27, 2006, he signs a 5-year, $20 million contract with the Cowboys.
He's earning it.
Imagine if he got all the money that he signed contracts for.
Right. He'd be very rich.
He'd have $50 million at this point. Instead, he's fucking scraping by, blowing it. But he signs a contract, has a big year. This is going to run through 2010, replaces his previous contract that had 1 year remaining, and comes 1 week after Terrell Owens signed a 3-year, $25 million contract with the Cowboys. So they were spending some dough on receivers at that point. So Glenn said that he might seek to have his own deal upgraded after Owens got his deal.
Big one,
Yeah, and he said it won't be an issue, but he might ask about it, and then they ended up doing it for him. His agent said, we've been trying to do something and have talked about it for a while. It finally came together. He's excited about it. With he and T.O., it's a good deal.
You bet.
Yeah. So he's still a big deep threat, still known as a deep threat because people know you can't get up on him with his speed because he'll fucking burn by you and you're never going to catch him. So
it's over. Right.
Certain respect they have to give him here. So he was supposed to get $2 million that year and was supposed to be a free agent after the year. Instead, he's signed. They said that Drew Bledsoe and Terry Glenn picked up where they left off, and they're very happy together. So that's very nice. 2006, 9-7 again.
Ouch.
They lose 21-20 to the Seahawks in the wild card game, so to Seattle. Not good. This is Tony Romo's first season at starting quarterback now. And Glenn plays, it's Terry Glenn and Terrell Owens on your two receivers.
Terrell's crying about, that's my quarterback.
Well, it's good, too. You got Terrell, who's a good, I mean, he's like a mid-range possession guy, but also stretches a bit, but not a deep threat, really. He can be, but he's not that speedster deep threat like Terry Glenn is.
Right. If
so
he catches it
and
shakes a man off, he may be off to the races. But
absolutely. He's tough, too.
Yeah, he can take a shot.
He's a strong receiver. But Terry Glenn, another 1,000-yard season.
Great.
70 receptions, 1,047 yards, 15 per catch, and 6 touchdowns. So he's doing great. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. 2007, Wade Phillips comes in for the Cowboys to coach them now. They are 13-3 this year.
How about it?
Not too shabby. Go to the playoffs and lose 21-17 against the Giants.
Damn it.
Wild card round. That was the Giants were 9-7 and won the Super Bowl and ruined New England's season and everything else. So that was fun. It was a fun year for me. So that year, though, he misses the first 15 games and was unable to even practice due to arthroscopic knee surgery before the season.
Shit.
He ends up playing in one game. He has no receptions for no yards, nothing. And that's it. He'll never play again in the NFL.
His knee ruined everything, huh?
It's fucked. He's totally fucked pretty much.
Wow.
Yep. He has. If you're a speed guy and you're not as speedy, all you need to lose is 0.2 and you're useless now.
Right. They scope
ran a
your
4.4,
knee and you're losing. Yeah, you're losing.
Now you're
sure.
Now you're a 5'11" guy who runs a 4.6, and who needs that?
Nobody wants that. Yeah.
Nope, don't need it anymore. So that's it. He's gone. Whole career, 137 games, 593 receptions, 8,823 yards. He does average 14.9 per catch and 44 touchdowns for him. So a decent career.
Yeah, a career you can hang your hat on, but I mean, it's not going to be
not a nobody, not a Hall of Famer, not a superstar, not a number 7 draft pick. When you see Marvin Harrison, look at his stats. They're wow. He does make about $5 million is what he ends up with in his career.
I mean,
that's
Harrison
a little more than that.
Peyton Manning, though.
Yeah, give or take. I think he ended up with a little more than that in the end.
Okay,
here. So,
not bad.
Because he got $5 million was that season, and then he ended up with
a ring, James.
And a ring, yes, and a ring. I don't know if he gets that ring though.
If you're
2001,
suspended,
he was suspended. No, because I know in baseball the guys like, well, if you're not there for all the time, they vote on whether you get a ring or not. So
he may not have gotten it.
They all hated him. I don't think anybody would have given him shit on New England. So.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
I doubt it. So they said July 25th, 2008, they waive him. They said they're going to move forward without Terry Glenn. Jerry Jones said they're waiving Glenn, but didn't rule out the possibility of him returning later if he's not claimed by another team. In other words, we just don't want his contract. That's what it is.
It's a lot of
we
money.
just got to get rid of that. So, because he was hurt. Jones insisted that the decision wasn't about a months-long dispute with Glenn over an injury waiver that kept him from taking part in the off-season workouts and would have greatly reduced his salary should he re-injure his knee and be unable to play. Jones said that turned out to not be an issue. At the end of the day, it had more to do with where we are right now, all that might have impacted how we give our young players a chance and how we evaluate that position. So, anyway, there you go. Throughout the summer, Glenn refused to sign a split contract, one that would have given him only $500,000 of his $1.74 base salary should he not be able to play because of his knee. He's 4 years old. 34-year-old speedster. Not great.
It's not so speedy anymore.
Yeah, so officially released July 26th, 2008. So within 6 months, there's trouble, obviously.
Yeah. His house isn't worth shit right now.
It's a problem. Oh, and he's upside down on his house big time. Super upside down.
Yeah.
And January 25th, 2009, maybe raging from real estate.
Yeah.
Fucking his on-fire real estate holdings. He is arrested here on multiple charges. Arrested on public intoxication, marijuana possession, after appearing disoriented at a hotel. Perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, the arrest came after a call of a suspicious person at the Extended Stay Deluxe Hotel near Meadow Creek Drive and Highway 114.
Ew.
What the fuck? Who stays there?
What is he doing there?
We wouldn't stay there.
No.
And we've stayed at the Vagabond Inn in Glendale, California. We wouldn't stay there. They said that the call was about someone, suspicious person, who was wandering the hallways checking door handles.
Oh, no.
After determining that Glenn was intoxicated and disoriented, officers arrested him on a public intoxication charge, and a subsequent search turned up a small amount of marijuana, leading to a misdemeanor charge of possessing less than 2 ounces of the drug. Stupid. They said that he was released.
Is this in
This
Dallas?
is in Florida. Yeah,
Oh,
Dallas-Fort
Florida,
Worth.
yeah. Okay.
This was in, and then also he ended up, as they were processing him, they realized he had outstanding traffic warrants in Roanoke, which is in the suburb of Dallas. So his agent said, I don't fucking know, man, anymore. What do you want from me? Seriously,
he was
man.
fucked up trying to find his room, and he looks real bad.
He doesn't know where he is.
No.
He's been hitting the head a lot, okay?
Yeah.
Can we just leave it at that and move on? You know what I mean?
He's on drugs and alcohol after that.
Yeah, at least he didn't grope anybody. Can we give
Yeah.
him credit? He didn't grope on anybody, and he wasn't pissing on anything. I feel like you people just are giving him no credit.
His dick was put away, and he was not near anybody's vagina, asshole,
Yeah.
or tit. So let's let him be.
And his agent's like, I don't even know if he's going to play again. So really, I don't know if you should be asking me this.
I don't even know if I'm an agent for this man.
I don't know what's happening anymore, to be honest with you. So January 6th, 2010, he is charged with auto theft.
Oh, he's stealing cars now?
How the fuck does that happen, you may ask? Well, Jesus, what an idiot. He failed to return a rented car. Just kept it. Yeah, his attorney, Luis Vera of San Antonio, you can't do that. They'll arrest you for that. Because, you're just stealing a car. Is what that is after
there's
a while.
Grand Theft Auto.
You're not paying for it at this point. It belongs to someone else. His attorney called it a, quote, crock of garbage.
Oh.
Crock of garbage.
His lawyer
He's
says
just
crock. Great.
Crock, but of garbage. After he rented a 2009 Chevy Suburban on November 10th, failed to return the vehicle to the National Rent-A-Car on time, which was at the Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport. And his lawyer said that he rented the vehicle while his Bentley was in the shop. Listen, his Bentley was in the shop. We all know how that is.
Below him.
This is beneath where he should be, but,
It's not
it's
a
fine.
soccer mom.
He said he would, bow down and humble himself to the level of driving a 1-year-old Suburban. His Bentley was in the shop.
He was driving a $55,000 vehicle, and he was ashamed.
He's ashamed of it. He said also, this is the other thing. This is why it's so egregious, this arrest.
Yeah.
Terry, where was he going at the time? He was on his way to return it.
Oh.
Literally en route. And that's when they pulled him over and arrested him. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the best place to be pulled over for it.
En route. Yeah, that's the one. He was booked and released about 1 a.m. on his own recognizance, and he said that he rented the vehicle under the direction of an insurance company while his car was being repaired. Okay. He said that National had given Glenn's credit card number and could have charged whatever balance was owed before reporting the car stolen. He also told the newspaper that Glenn was very upset about the incident and how it was being played in the media. And the National Car Rental spokeswoman Laura Bryant said there has been communication between its agent and Glenn before the vehicle was reported missing. Like, listen, we told him to fucking bring it back, and he didn't. So that's why. Don't fucking say it just on a whim we did this shit. So, honestly, he's had a tough life.
It's not been easy.
It's not been easy. I mean, and it can't have been easy for, like, his kids.
Yeah.
It can't have been easy for, people around him. Right. He's had a tough life. We know it's not been easy for Pete Carroll around him. God, poor Pete Carroll. Oh, no. Smallest fucking violin for Pete Carroll over here.
Ruined his NFL career for a little while.
I mean, there's a lot of people to feel bad for here, but not nearly as bad.
Boy.
As I feel for Terry Glenn, director of estimating and subfabrication at Merrill Steel in Kansas City. Oh. That guy that's a job right there. That's like work. You come home with you wear gloves and a hard hat for that one. That's fun.
That's a lot of measure twice, cut once kind of guy.
Fuck yeah. Terry Glenn, account executive at Procter & Gamble in Kansas City. All these people are in Kansas City for some reason. And then finally, Terry Glenn, who, by the way, appears to be a lady. Lady Terry Glenn, Terry Glenn. I don't know where she... Oh, it's a retail store. My Life is Awesome is her retail store in Washington, D.C.
The only Terry Glenn who can say that.
Yeah. I was going to say, the other Terry Glenn is this is a crock of garbage, honestly. My Life is not
store.
Awesome. And finally, Terry Glenn... SCAPA Quality Control Tech. I don't know. Oh, it's a healthcare. SCAPA Healthcare. He checks the quality of the healthcare in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yeah.
So April 7th, 2015, he gets hired. He finally gets a job to coach the Texas Revolution.
Oh.
Which is an indoor football team here.
Yeah.
The Indoor Football League is what it is. There we go. The Revolution, they hire him as offensive coordinator.
Not even head coach.
No, just in time for the team's 51-27 victory against the Amarillo Venom.
Yeah.
Wow. The Revolution, upon the Revolution's return to Allen after a 55, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that. Yes, they said it was a management decision, and they said they got rid of Wendell Davis, who's another former Cowboy, and they give him this job instead. So they said that they have a history. Wyman is the other guy, the other coach. And they said they were drafted by the Patriots together. Devin Wyman.
Oh, I don't know.
He played for the Patriots. So they were drafted by the Patriots in the same season. Okay. And they're going to coach against the next game. The Wichita Force are coming.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. So here's a post from Mother's Day 2017. Okay. This is a post on a Facebook post here.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, it was posted later, but it's from 2000. It's a post from Mother's Day 2017. And then
the remembrance of Mother's Day.
Yeah, the screenshot of it, though, came from later, so I can't get to the see more. So we only have half of it here. But it's a picture of his mom and a bunch of flowers and stuff there. And he says, quote, by the way, on social media, he is Terry Glenn Sr. now.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yes. Quote, Dear Mommy, I wanted to write you this note to tell you how much I love you, and although it was 30 years ago since I last saw you, it seems like yesterday. After you and Grandma left this world, the, quote, family gave up on your boy, exclamation point.
Boy.
It wasn't a secret that I had a mental issue, but never in a million years would I have thought that I would have grown into adulthood so alone. Mommy, I fought off those demons you used to tell me about. It was hard, but I managed to keep them at bay. And then that's the see more after that. This is the only reference we get to any mental illness that he talks about. Something's wrong with Terry.
I would say so, yeah.
He's got some kind of issue here, and I obviously I can't diagnose him from fucking
I don't know
sitting here, but he obviously had...
He clearly doesn't get along with people. He clearly has some friction with authority. And his mental health issues are deep. They're very deep.
They're deep rooted. Like he needs a lot of help here.
Yeah, childhood mental health issues.
Big time. And so that was Mother's Day 2017. November 20th, 2017. By the way, he caught Tom Brady's first touchdown pass.
Is that right?
Trivia question for you. Yes. He is driving. It is, I believe, early morning, 1 a.m. Shortly before, or it's a little earlier, 12:18 a.m. is when this happened. The Irving police are going to end up investigating the cause of this accident he gets in at 12:18 a.m. on eastbound Highway 114 here. He's driving a vehicle. He was driving the vehicle here. He had his fiance is in the passenger seat. And apparently he's driving when the vehicle veers off the highway and strikes a concrete barrier and rolled over.
Oh, shit.
Glenn is ejected from the vehicle.
Oh, no
during the rollover, and he's killed in this accident.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, he's dead on the road.
Terry Glenn hit a fucking cement divider and was thrown from the vehicle.
Rolled over.
And died.
Dead.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, that's fucking good. Since Steve Howe, that's the last time that happened, and you had the exact same reaction. Hand on the forehead. Oh, my God. What the fuck?
Jesus.
It's horrible. Yeah, he is pronounced dead at 1 a.m. at Parkland Memorial Hospital in Dallas.
Was it a 2009 Bentley?
Let me see. Right? Hopefully it wasn't a fucking Suburban because we know he's not into those.
Oh, my.
Holy
was he racing back to return a Suburban?
Fuck, I'm late. The cops chasing behind him.
That's horrible.
So, yeah, he's dead by 1 a.m. His fiance's taken to the hospital for treatment of minor injuries.
Wow.
She had minor injuries.
It's rare that happens.
And he's ejected, and it's very sad there. There was no immediate information on whether they were wearing seatbelts or not. I'm going to go out on a limb and say he wasn't if he's ejected. Otherwise, someone's got a hell of a lawsuit against Bentley or Chevy or somebody. Those things got to stay fastened. So,
wow.
That is fucking insane, man.
I didn't know Terry Glenn is dead.
Yeah, he's fucking dead as shit, obviously, on the highway. So
the man never heard about the pandemic.
He never hear about anything.
Good for him. He didn't have to deal with all those bullshit jokes.
Oh, God, bad comedians. Yeah. The other thing, too, is he probably didn't live to go completely broke either.
Right.
That's another thing. Maybe
probably
he
had a
actually
little bit of cash left.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. But we're trying to find silver linings in a 43-year-old man dying, which there's no silver lining in that. That's horrible. That's fucking horrible.
Terry Glenn Jr. has a little bit of cash laying around.
Hopefully some better luck, too.
Oh, my God. I hope Terry Glenn Jr. Is not robbed of, you know what I mean? Like, has the rage that his dad had about not having a father.
Well, at least he does have a father. At least his dad is there, and he knows who he is. He's a fucking junior of him, at least.
Yeah.
Whereas Terry Glenn's like, I don't even know who the guy is.
Right.
Never mind that he rejected me or something like that. So Bill Belichick, they ask about this, and he said, quote, I was pretty close with Terry. He said, I think he was...
You called him she, you dick.
No, that was Parcells.
Oh, okay. This is Belichick's thing. Okay.
Belichick was also a coordinator with the team on his rookie year.
Oh.
So that he knew him from then. He knew him from his rookie year. So he said, we were pretty close. I think he was, deep down inside, a good person with good intentions and a good heart. That's very backhanded. That's
the least complimentary thing anybody said about somebody posthumously.
When someone says, I think deep down, that means that they didn't show any of the complimentary things you're about to say to the world at all. But somehow you saw it in them. But, they didn't obviously use any of that or show anybody that
Bill.
shit. So that's fucking cold, man. That is goddamn cold. So he said, I think he was that. He also says, quote, Terry was someone, this is Jerry Jones now. Terry was someone that we all enjoyed very much in his time with the Cowboys. He was a gentle and kind-hearted young man, too young and too soon. And Bob Kraft said, hold on a second, I'm getting a hand job from this fucking broad.
Take it easy, my ling.
Speaky Englishy? No speaky? Hold 1 minute.
Go slower, I'll pay you more.
What now? Goes over to to the reporter. He said, Terry was one of the most gifted receivers we ever had. For so many Patriots fans, his rookie season will be remembered as one of the most impactful in franchise history. I mean, really, they went to the Super Bowl, for Christ's sake. So Drew Bledsoe said, quote, loved this man. This is on social media. Loved this man. My son asked me a decade ago who my favorite receiver ever was because he wanted that jersey for Christmas. He got a Terry Glenn jersey from Santa.
Oh, God, I have goosebumps. That is the sweetest thing ever said.
He said, TG overcame horrible adversity to become a really good man. May your soul rest in peace, my friend. He leaves behind, by the way, he's very private about his private life.
Yeah.
Because, like, nobody knew his fiance's name when they crashed. He had a fiance. Like, he wasn't real public about shit. He had Terry Jr., and he was very public about Terry Jr.
Right.
They didn't say that he had 7 children, though.
Get the fuck out of here.
He ends up having 7 children, they figure out, when he's dead.
Wow.
7 children.
With how many women?
Well, we'll find that out.
Yeah.
By the way, the accident occurred after Glenn and his fiance had been tailgating at a Cowboys game.
Oh, no. He was probably boozed up, right?
He was found unconscious on the ground with a massive wound on the back of his head.
Oh, shit.
And pronounced dead. They said he had a possible, his girlfriend had possible broken collarbone and some facial injuries, but nothing serious.
That's airbag injuries.
Yeah, that could be just that. They said that, especially the collarbone, that happens, and facial shit. They said that her name is LeGrand is her last name here, and she said that she had been drinking earlier in the day, and it was, quote, not clear if Glenn drank as well.
Yeah.
He probably fell asleep and veered off into the thing. That's what it seems like. No alcohol was found at the scene, but, I mean, they were coming from tailgating.
Right. He was smuggling his belly.
They did find a marijuana grinder and a little bottle full of weed. That had nothing to do with this. So the autopsy, though, reveals both alcohol and marijuana in his system. Now, the marijuana, unless you know the nanograms per milliliter, you don't know exactly. Unless they have that information, we don't know if he was like super stoned actively or he smoked 2 days ago. But they definitely know alcohol was in his system, and so that means he was having some problems here. They said it revealed marijuana in his system and a blood alcohol level more than twice the legal limit.
0.27?
More than twice the legal limit. They don't say what it is exactly, just more than twice the legal limit.
Twice is 0.08 there, isn't it? So it's probably like 0.17, 0.18, something. That's drunk, man.
That's drunker than you. Yeah. So that's some sad shit, man. Very sad shit.
Running down the street in a big car, likely, no seatbelt on, hammered.
Hammered at midnight. Just veering off into a... I mean, shit, if defensive backs can't hurt me, who's going to hurt me? Right. You know what I mean? There's a definite invincibility factor to a lot of, especially kind of NFL players, because it's all speed and violence, and that's all very normal for them. November 21st, 2017, Terry Glenn's children speak out here after losing their father. They say how sad it was. His son, or his daughter, Samantha Glenn, said that he was my hero and my dad. His other daughter, Natalie Glenn, he has all these fucking kids, who's 15. Samantha, 12, Natalie, 15. He loved me and told me he was proud of me. Apparently, Glenn had 4 children with his ex-wife. I didn't even know. We knew he kept it so private, dude. We didn't even know about any of this shit. We knew
Did we even know he was married?
I don't know. No, I didn't think I knew he was married. That's what I mean.
Fiancés, no marriage.
No marriage. So his daughter says, she remembers watching him in the games. She said during the game we'd always sit on the very edge. So when he did play on, a play on defense, he's on offense, sweetheart. He would come up and say hi and give us hugs. She said she'll miss her father's voice in the crowd at her volleyball game. So he was active.
Fuck.
He was always the loudest person, she said. His 11-year-old son, Christian, said, quote, he would always take me fishing.
He did have a dad
He's a good
fetish.
dad. He had a dad. I'm telling you, dude.
100% dad fetish.
He was going to have as many kids as he could and father the fuck out of them.
Give them the best fucking childhood ever.
Just sit down and we're going to talk about the birds and bees.
Sit
and we're
on
gonna,
my knee, motherfucker.
My God. He has a real dad fetish.
Yes, you can have an ice cream cone. Right before bed, you betcha. Brushed your teeth already? Have two, goddammit.
By the way, go mow the lawn. There, that's also a dad. Get your ass out there. I'll give you the back of my hand. See, now it's a full dad experience.
Take the trash out. We'll go fishing.
Yeah, this is great. So it's nice to see, though, that he actually fucking turned it around. Yeah. Natalie, his daughter, said, we saw about 2 movies a week because we were movie buddies.
Unfucking real.
She said he was a great father. He tried his best in everything. He fought really hard for everything. Jesus Christ. He also, they said that they remember how much their dad did for other children, specifically foster kids that he knew about that he was helping for charity, not that he had fostered.
Right.
He was active in his 83 Kids Foundation. There's 83 kids. His number was 83.
Oh, God, Jesus.
So, I have 83 kids. I had to get a foundation about
Terry, stop being a dad for a minute.
Jesus, that's how fucking much of a dad fetish he has.
Yeah.
He really does.
I'm going to go find 83 more.
I'll find more. 7? That's 90, right? We got 90 now? Okay, no more kids. 7 of mine, 83 of them. Sounds perfect. Okay, November 28th, 2019.
Yeah.
A mere 2 years later. It is Thanksgiving, by the way, here. And Terry Glenn Jr. Terry Glenn Jr. is found by family members in a bathroom at his home in Columbus, Ohio. Earlier that day, he'd been tweeting about his father, who has died almost 2 years ago to the day there in the car crash. And, by the way, blood alcohol level 0.165. We did have that. Yep, 0.165 for that. Glenn Jr. had tweeted, I miss him so much. This time of year is the hardest by far, man. This was the holiday and the last one that got cut short right before we were all going to be together. Really just wonder why. And he also tweeted, Thanksgiving was my dad's favorite game to play in as a Cowboy, and you best believe your boy was always right there in the stands. Terry Glenn Jr. is dead. He dies of an accidental drug overdose at 22 in the bathroom.
Oh, my God.
That's fucking rough. He was, I'm sure, self-medicating to get over his feelings for the day.
Really hurting today and took too many.
That is fucking crazy. That is, I don't even know what to say about that.
No, there's 6. That's so depressing. This poor fucking family.
Dude, this is tragic, man.
Tragedy? I could strike this. Jesus.
No one name your kid Terry Glenn.
No.
Stop the cycle.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, do you want to hear about another Terry Glenn? Because that's all very depressing. You want to hear something even worse that makes all of our guys' shit sound like nothing? Yeah. Okay, let's see here. Here's a headline. This is in the mistaken identity section, but I saved it for the end here. Wife agrees to testify against husband in burning of baby with iron in St. Johns County.
Terry!
Alana Glenn pleaded to a lesser charge, setting up a situation where she will likely testify against her husband, Terry Glenn.
Unbelievable.
His plea of no contest to an amended charge of neglect of a child will get Alana Glenn out of jail in less than a month. She at least agrees to probation. He's facing charges of aggravated child abuse, first-degree felony, neglect of a child causing great bodily harm, a second-degree felony. I saved this for the end because our Terry Glenn, as big of an asshole as he was, would never do this because he had a kid fetish.
He's a great dad.
He would have never done that.
Dad fetish, James.
Yeah, dad fetish, not a kid fetish. My God.
Sweet Christ, man. Take it easy.
Sorry.
Take it easy with the flipping accusation.
Jesus, that was rough. Oh, my God. Fuck.
Poor Terry.
This Terry Glenn was charged with all this after an incident where the toddler was found with burns from an iron, a bleeding foot wound, and other injuries.
What a piece of shit.
Holy shit. The mother said, I've learned from the situation, and I just want to be a better mother. I just want to be normal, basically. Is what she said. That she might as well have said that. What is up with the Glens, man?
You know
What's
Terry
happening?
Glenn, stay the fuck away from that guy.
Holy shit. So that, everybody, is Terry Glenn. And just not a whole lot of crime there.
Tortured soul, man.
tortured soul. There was a murder in the fucking case. I mean, the mother was beaten. There's a lot of crime around it and a lot of kind of stuff, but it's just one of those stories that need to be told, I feel like. And God damn it, it was funny and tragic and terrible.
And how could you expect it to end any other way, truly?
You know, the kid, that's also 22.
That's a horrible
and he
part.
fucking dies because he does some drugs. I mean, I think he did.
Dad.
He probably did drugs anyway, but he did extra drugs.
Right.
You know, that day.
And missing Pop.
And he's sad. Yeah.
So
sucks.
shitty.
So, that is shitty. And Terry Glenn, what a weird little life he had.
Wow, man.
I'm kind of curious to see what his next 20 years would have played out like.
Yeah.
He liked being around kids and football and stuff,
and
so who knows? And drinking.
He was doing the cheap things. Good for him for that.
He's
doing
hanging out.
The cheap things that make you comfortable in your own skin. That's great.
You know what I kind of like about him, too?
Yeah.
He wasn't too good to go to a Cowboys game and tailgate with people.
Right. Yeah,
He wasn't
it's all
like,
over.
well, I'm a former player,
Right.
so I don't need to do it. He'll go out and hang out and drink in the
That's
parking lot
pretty
and do all
rad.
that shit.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. You kind of got to like a guy for that. So
But,
that's
I mean,
Terry Glenn, everybody.
That lifestyle leads you to hit a cement barrier and throw yourself out the car. That's kind of
drunk
shitty.
at midnight.
Yeah. But that lends to the legend of how cool he is, too. That, you know what I mean?
He loves football.
Good dude he is. Yeah.
Seemed to like football.
Yeah.
So there we go. If you like that story or any other story that you've ever heard, it helps a lot.
Yeah,
Get on
say
whatever
something
app
about
you're
it.
listening
Yeah.
on. Apple Podcasts, this one, that one.
Here's
Leave
something,
5
say
stars.
something.
Yeah, here's something. Say something, man. Leave 5 stars. If you have a dad fetish, tell us what your fetish is. Say something nice about us. You're a shoe-tying bastard. Again, it helps drive us up the chart. It really does. So helpful. It's very helpful for you to do that. Thank you to everyone who's done that, and please do that again. Also, listen to Small Town Murder if you're not a Small Town Murder listener, because holy shit, that's wild, that fucking show.
Yeah.
It's not like, it's not a Dateline thing. It's just like as crazy as this, but always with death. It's wild shit. And keep an ear out for Your Stupid Opinions, which is coming very soon now because we finally got the okay that we can actually put it out very soon. So we're excited. It's happening. Yay. The episode's done and we're ready to do it. So we're very excited. Can't wait to give you that. You also want to head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Get your tickets for live shows. Chicago, where you at? Chicago.
Hey, it's going to be big.
August 12th, it's going to be our biggest show ever, so please get out there. Get your tickets. It's a Chicago-only live show. Can't wait for it, so get there. Also, Dallas, Philly, Atlanta, Charlotte, and not D.C. because it just sold out. Sorry about that. Those are available for the rest of the year. Get in there right now. Get your tickets. Shutupandgivememurder.com. You want to follow us on social media, at Crime and Sports on Facebook and Twitter, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, and Threads there, too. We're on there now, too. So find us on there. And as well as you definitely want Patreon. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. If you've been on the fence going, I don't know if it's worth it. I don't know. Trust us. It's worth it. All of our, they're like an hour long. All the ones, at least the ones we've been doing the last couple of years, they're like an hour long. There's a couple hundred back episodes of bonus stuff to binge on.
Yeah.
Always crazy shit, and they're always wild and fun because, it's not for public consumption. It's for our kind of base listenership, so we have a good time and really let loose on them on those episodes. This week, no different. You're going to get 2 new episodes every other week. What you're going to get this week for Crime and Sports, we're going to talk about the 1919 Chicago White Sox, the Black Sox scandal. Yeah. Where they threw the World Series and who was behind that, and we'll get into some detail and we'll make fun of some old-timey stuff and see who, because there's always an asshole and there's always a scapegoat. There's always an asshole that got away with a lot and there's always a scapegoat. We'll see who history has been unkind to unfairly and who they've been too kind to too fairly, unfairly also. So we'll get into all of that. For Small Town Murder, which you'll also have access to, because of the goings-on of the last few weeks, we've gotten on a little kick about Titanic shit, as far as not like the movie, but the actual Titanic sinking and all this shit. So we're going to talk about some very weird Titanic stories I've uncovered about some of the people. I've uncovered, but I found out there that existed. Like I was doing interviews with people. I didn't uncover shit, but I found some stuff that other people found a long time ago. And we'll talk all about it. Some weird, interesting stuff about it. Like people didn't believe that the boat broke in half until the 80s.
Really?
Yeah, even though there was people on board that said, I watched it break in half. They go, nah, it wouldn't have broken half. You're crazy. You were just in shock from the cold. They were like, you don't know what you're talking about.
I'd see shit too if that was in that water.
No shit. So that we'll talk about all of that and some just to throw in a few other sea mysteries in there. Just some weird stuff that happened at sea and some strange coincidences. There's some very weird coincidences with the Titanic, though.
Yeah.
Super weird. We'll talk about all of that. Patreon.com/crimeinsports. And you'll get a shout out.
Hey.
Shit. When do you get that shout out? Right fucking now. Jimmy, hit me with those names like you gave me 7 kids and couldn't wait to father them with me. Thank you so Hit me with them now, Jimmy.
This week's executive producers are Jordan Bennett. See you in Denver, Jordan.
See you there.
Henri Rolfheimer McDougal. Welcome to the shit show, little buddy.
Well,
he was born.
you.
Oh,
wow.
I imagine.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Vanara Boone, I believe. I don't know. Maybe. Rad Barnard also. Thank you all so much for being a part of this. You're terrific.
You're awesome.
Other producers this week are Gary Friedman. He'd like to start a fund to help edit Steve Williams' book or just correct poll to poll.
There's a lot of
the typos.
Yeah, there's some typos. And it's a good book otherwise, too. Yeah.
Also, Rabbi Shmulevitch's pet Spider Mel, Edith Bunker, and Reverend Fletcher, who never got to consummate their friendship.
It's Felcher, actually.
Is it? Oh, the Apple doesn't like the word Felcher. It would rather call him Fletcher.
I think also because Archie used to get it wrong.
Oh, really?
And go, I don't give a I don't care what his name is because he never went to church.
Maybe that's Archie's brain has the same software as Apple.
Yeah, he just never goes to church, so they don't. It was one of those. That's
Corporal Carl Kirshner and his to-do list longer than Toe Nash's dong, evidently.
Oh, wow, that's long.
That's a big one. Peyton Meadows, Janice Hill, and Eaton Reglers. Thank you guys all for being a part of this.
Fucking rock.
We also have Jessica Johnson, Molly Huff, Catherine Wickhage, I think, MK, Ultra, obviously, Susan Cecchini. It's delicious noodles is what it is. Don Wildenstein,
so good.
Danish with no last name. Andrew McClure, Mac Barrera, Hunter Stanley, Gary Trabuccio.
Hey, Trabuccio, get the fuck over here. What are you doing?
Ripley Fellman, Matt with no last name, Michael Kaczynski, Lance Chefe maybe, Beige Angel, all those Beige Angels.
Those beige babies.
Ryan O'Connor, Benjamin Milborn, Tauchia Blake, Tusha Blake, what is this? Bishus. Oh, boy. Christina McLeod, Isaiah Hoffman, Margaret R., Peter Dunham, April Yulshafer. Oh, boy, this is going to be long because there's so many. Morgan Hovis, Mohammed Matuzi, Emily Sears, Corey Jassa Bruder, Nene Akpan, Bob C., Tassie Calvert, Aaron Brads, Kendo Slice, Tiffany Alston, Michael Davis, Eaton Beaver, all right, Dalen with no last name, Melissa Amon, Scott O'Brien, Amy Wood, Bill Rose, Dan Myers, Leanne Norilis, and Lauren Richardson. It's the second time I've done that in my life.
Richardson.
I got to stop that one. Adam Manuel, Tara C., all on accident. Ainsley. Camille Collar with no last name. Wait, that is her last name. Josh Koch, or Coach maybe. Jason with no last name. Ginny, your co-host. Lance Vargas, Amber Deering, Amy Shanks, Christopher Centurani. Yep. Caroline H.
You got it.
Carolyn, maybe. Michael Ashford, Damian Tony Jr., Alexandra Savory, Victoria, The Geeky Sandbox, Gabriella Dial. Davila Ferrara. We all know her, Richardson. John Hardy, Emily Scheider. Ooh, that's German for shit, isn't it? Bethany with no last name. Amy Deal. Dustin is a jerk. Sam Toohey, Megan Dewberry, Amelia.
Jesus Christ.
Amelia Kelly.
Wow.
I need to.
Impressive.
I'm going to die. All right. Vanessa Martin, LD Care of Big Larry, Cheryl Shockey, Dylan Northrup, Travis Davis, Katie Overturf, Ben Martin, Jennifer Provan, Ali Nanini, Danny Horton, Karen Stearns, Carrie Bucci, yeah, Samuel Bartek, Peter Castagna, Angelique Kegelar, oh boy, Wilka Wilson, Julie Topin maybe, Eva, oh boy, Eva, evocative Shane, Baby Mona Lisa Vito, Tori Rosenfeld, Kristen is Kristen is quadriplegious, James. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
So dirty. Alex Castile, Tracy Lito, Seem Hang. Taylor with no last name. Larry Bird's mustache. Courtney Yeager. Leslie Esquivel.
Mustache.
It's a terrible mustache.
Blonde mustaches just don't work. Sorry.
Mateus Spurlash. Jessica Olin. Zachary Deniston, Abby Gualoto, oh no. Jonathan Everett, Dylan Purcell, Jake Underwood, Sean Blevins, Lynn Lipford, Paula Bradley, Kevin the Chihuahua, Jillian gorgeous maybe, Diane Booth, John Martin, Sig Sauer 229, Paul F, probably not Tompkins though, Julian Porbadink, Melissa, Mrs. Crum in Utah, Kayla maybe, Ross, Ashley Moore, Tracy with no last name, Matt Barry, Jackson Schmidt, Megan Orchikowski, Brandon Viljic, Diane with no last name. Nope. David O, I'm not betting shit on it. Bo with no last name, Audrey Murphy, Paul Farrow, Mark with no last name, Michelle McKee, Miles with no last name, Magna Mobley, John Colley, Marion Strout Orso, Aiden Snyder, Corey Jarrett, Matthew DeRicio, Clarissa Martinez, Samuel Higgins, Bree Bullard, Katie Clark, Steve Stanford, Jordan Amy, Kevin Gray, Tina Esquibel, Jessica Allman, Miranda Williamson, Jeremy Armand, Stephen McCarty, Anthony Fenn, Leslie with no last name, Maggie with no last name, Madden, Hillier. What? That one broke me. Stephanie Clark, Alex Foster, Garrett Rutherforth, Devin Dahlgren, Brandon Philbrick, David Roman, Kara Sam, Marissa Highcar, Dale with no last name, Clark Lockout. Caitlin Randell's, Preston with no last name, Kurt, Van Hook, Jordan Addison, Alex Ropes, Justin Rockhold, oh boy, Calvin Little, Jessica Smearmagalia, Demario with no last name, Jill Vise, Francesca McCutcheon, Jack with no last name, Aaron Schlack, Emmylou Porter, Candace with no last name, Toby Brown, Kev with no last name, Alexis Brooks, Danny Shelton, Rebecca Underwood, Chris M, Tanis Nadal, Melissa Incaravi, Incarvalia, Linda Odom, Oldham, Lorraine Murray, Haley Muir, Susie Betcher, Mark Griffin,
it's Susie.
Maddie Janot, Rebecca McIntyre, Robert Marinell, Cynthia Palmer, Aaron Kustuch, I don't know. Mary Ambigola, Abibola,
a lot of C's and Ooches in there.
Abimbola, Merodeo, John Spalding, Katani Ferrari, Audra Wajdi, Nikki Baker, RJ with no last name, Jackson Beasley, Gavin Holzington, Jason Smitzer-Flugen. Smitzer-Flugen?
Yes. Awesome.
Is that a real word, Smitzer-Flugen?
I fucking hope so. That's awesome. I ordered that once from a Wiener Schnitzel.
Can I get a Smitzer-Flugen?
It was pretty good.
Adele Martins, Jenna Running, Scott Slager, Mikkel Jeter, Chrissy McKinney, James Stapleton, Donald Monk, Deanna Johnson, Sarah Deasy, and Desiree Quezada, and obviously all of our patrons. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. You wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people out there. Thank you for helping us and being with us and hanging with us and being interested in hearing more shit from us as well. Thank you. Just thanks for being on the team, everybody. We really do appreciate it. Thanks for pushing the show. And that really is the greatest way you can possibly help the show is push it tell your friends about it. Hey, you listen to anything? Tell them what you're listening to, because we could talk till we're blue in the face.
Right.
You could see ads for a podcast or whatever, but what gets people to listen to a podcast is someone they know has similar interests, goes, this shit's funny, you're going to like it. Yeah. That's what helps us out. So thank you for doing that. Social media, all that helps a lot. Thank you for doing that. If you want to follow us on social media, very easy to do that. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com. Check out links, and we are in there. So do that. Keep coming back and seeing us, goddammit. So keep coming back and seeing us. Thank you so much. Week after week. You can't make us go away.
No.
And live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.